welcome on in. How are we all doing today? Welcome into the 6 out of 10 Not Bad podcast. My name, as always, is Tiny Pixels, and this week I'm actually joined by one of the loveliest human beings on the planet. I've been waiting to get this guy on for, like, so freaking long. It's not even funny. Also, Sam, welcome back. How you doing?
I don't see what you're talking about.
Guys, can I please get a wonderful welcome to our recurring host and my wonderful friend, the lovely Squirrel Mother, but also the wonderful Dreadheaded. How you doing, darling?
Hi. I'm doing well, thank you.
Good.
Very well, yeah.
Good. So, how have we been this week? How have we all found the week? We're all really tired this week. I don't know what it is.
It's like someone's put a straw into the side of my neck and just gone and taken all the energy out. I can't describe it in any other way. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, no, I've had a very lazy week up until the end of it, and yeah, I just feel exhausted. I swear it's probably not doing anything though, right? That makes you even more tired.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's one of those. So Ed, tell us a little bit about you. What is it you do? Where can people find you? All that kind of deal. Can I also really quickly also say hello to the wonderful Kitch22? We tried desperately to try to get an accurate representation on the cameras of you. I don't know if that word. Just stop eating the quiche.
Quiche 22.
Quiche 22. We tried. We tried really hard.
I got so far, and in the end, it didn't even matter.
Yeah. So yeah, Ed, tell us a little bit about you, darling. Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do and where people can find you.
So hi, I'm Dreadheaded. If you don't know me, twitch.tv/Dreadheaded. I play all sorts of games, although mostly one game interspersed with other games in reality, which is 7 Days to Die, where I build really weird things and I live out my dreams of actually building a house one day
Just live
in front of people.
Away from people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, actually, in the last server I built a house all out on my own, somewhere nice and quiet, and now everyone's fucking moved in. They thought it all looked nice, and they've all built houses next to me.
Streamer house.
I mean,
that's what you get, right?
Yeah.
Right, for building something.
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
But yeah, welcome to Variety Streaming, where we go, hey, we're gonna play something different all the freaking time, and all I've played for the last 2 weeks is The Witcher and Darkest Dungeon.
Well, isn't that the way though? I think that's a good thing in the long run, because I think you get into games. There's always going to be one of those games. I think it's really difficult to be a variety streamer who literally is real, playing something different every couple of days and really have the same drive for all of it.
I think it's nice to have a comfort game to come back to and just
I'm not sure what to play tonight. Oh, screw it. We'll just switch on 7 Days to Die and have a chill one, or whatever it is. But yeah, and yeah, that too, so.
Oh god.
Right.
So,
and I suppose we should talk about what we actually do and go horrendously out of focus. That was lovely.
Yeah.
Marvelous. So what we do here, if you don't already know, is we go through the week's gaming news, take out all the vaguely interesting bits and cast aside all the really boring, horrible bits. Actually, no, we focus on some horrible bits too, but hey.
and then we promote good, healthy discussion.
No, maybe not.
Memes, maybe,
and there's
but...
memes in there somewhere, and that's about it, really. And then we also go into a more sort of in-depth discussion around something a bit more juicy. And then basically at the end we go follow our guests, because the reason the guests is because they're the good peoples. And that's kind of the whole gist of it.
Yeah, a little bit of news, a little bit of game recommendations, a little bit of this person is wonderful, go follow the shit out of them. Jobs are good. Talking about good job, well done.
Excellent.
Don't you start.
That was a really top quality segue, I've got to say.
Anyway.
Alright, do you want to do your shit segue? Is that what you want, Sam?
I'm really upset that he didn't play a soldier, so I could say I've begot you in my sights. But like, so this is our first story. Is about a Twitch streamerino under the name of Rudism,
who does really
wonderful,
cool
stuff.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude.
Really cool stuff. So he makes like anything and everything,
literally, yeah,
into a controller for the game. So this time around, he's made a baguette into a gun for using Widowmaker in Overwatch.
So the one thing I've been led to believe about Overwatch, I should preface this with the fact that I literally know nothing about Overwatch, but it's thought that Widowmaker is French, right?
Yes.
That's why it's a baguette.
Yes.
Right. So the casual racism controller.
Yeah.
Playing it
if
safe,
it makes you feel any better, we also had the stereotypical nerd kind of deal where he turned Doritos soaked in Mountain Dew into a controller.
Yes, I've seen that one, and he kept breaking them.
At one point, he ate one and had to quickly replace it. And I'm going.
Well, that's what really made me happy about this. Is at one point he's just like,
yep,
takes a chunk out the side of it.
It's absolute. Yeah, this is wonderful. Like the games that he does where he uses a blender to play.
Yeah, exactly. I saw him play PUBG.
PUBG,
PUBG with a blender.
Yeah.
Just generally, I think he you want to talk about interesting things that people are doing on Twitch. That is up there with one of the and it brings together everything that Twitch is about. I think as well. You've got like the creative element of it. You've got the gaming element of it. You've got the community aspect of it. It just brings together everything that Twitch is about. So.
Yeah,
and I think it helps that he just seems to be a super nice dude as well.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, how you doing? And that's just the holy trinity of goodness.
I've never seen somebody so excited about a blender in my life as this guy who's like, look what we're using today. Like he's genuinely enthusiastic about Arduino, sort of Arduino boards and what he does.
And you know what? That's the thing. There's a big community around that, and I have no doubt that he must be quite a sort of big member of that. It's a really cool field. Like I want to learn more about it because you can do some cool shit with those things.
Arduino stuff is amazing. There's so much you can do with it. Like it's unreal. Yeah, it's nice to see because we always say, and a lot of new streamers are like, how do I get noticed? And you always say, well, the thing that separates you from the next person in that game directory is you. You're all playing. So I've been playing a lot of Witcher 3. Okay, so there's 16 people say playing the Witcher 3. How do you make you different?
Yeah.
And this is most definitely he's got such an incredible skill set because not only is he a really talented gamer, but he understands the ins and outs of just all of this technology regarding sort of Arduino boards and building these controllers, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
And he's used it to make something really like fun and different, which is cool. And it's always admiring seeing people who do that. Like they have this like way of seeing something that no one else has seen before. It's always really quite impressive, I think.
Yeah, no, it's good to see these people being highlighted for it as well. It's good to see Twitch being like, hey, this dude is neat. Go and look at what he's doing. Think about what neat stuff you guys could do and go and push that.
Tweet him out once or twice about a couple of different things as well. So like, the actual platform itself going, look, this is cool shit that you can do on our platform. This is the stuff that we want to promote on this platform.
Yeah.
So, that is hopefully inspiring as well to new content creators to kind of think a little out of the box and do some stuff, not do exactly what he's doing,
but
because
find their kind of their niche that they can push forward. And again, if you're passionate about something, it's often very scary to put it in front of an audience. I mean, you look at my content over the last week. Like we did poll, for example, and like I was terrified. I was actually wetting myself. I didn't sleep for the 2 days before that cast because I'm like, holy shit, everybody's gonna make fun of how much I love this. It's not gonna come across properly. But so actually, I think Twitch is a great platform for putting your passions forward.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, seeing people like this is great.
I think that one of the great things about Twitch is that you can just be yourself, and the chances are that there are people out there who will relate to that. And I think like you could do your passion, and there will be people. Like, I think that's one of the awesome things that Twitch has allowed. It allows people who have these interests to find each other.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, I'm learning new things about all of it every day. I mean, I had no idea that you could hook up Arduino boards to half the shit that he does. Yeah. Like, because, you know, you go into somewhere like Maplins and you look at an Arduino board and you look at the kits and you're like, oh yeah, there's some lights there and there's some bits and pieces. No, this guy is like, hey, you can hook up bananas to this thing.
Yep.
And you can get like tactile from you know, tactile switches from bananas. Like, you can do that. And that's amazing. Like, I'm learning stuff all the time from these people who are pushing
electronic components. No, enough of that.
No. Bananas are the way forward, clearly. It's good to see people pushing that forward.
Maybe that's the secret. Maybe with my next microphone, we need to like implement a banana switch or something like that.
Banana / maybe that's depending on where you are. Like,
yeah, exactly. Maybe make it customized to where in the world we can find some racist stereotype to use for every country in the world.
It doesn't have to be racist. It can be against large groups of people like monkeys or like gamers. You know, it doesn't have to be race. Like, it can be species. That's true. Or it can be interest.
That's true.
Like, it doesn't, like...
Just general stereotypes.
Also, Tactile Bananas, yes, it's a Paul. That is the most amazing band name in the world, and that is going to be my new band.
I don't know why. I'm imagining it being like a really hard metal band with lots of screaming. I don't know why. It's just that's what comes into my head when I think Tactile Banana.
Just straight up. You know, noises.
I'm excited. Solid. You guys, wait for the EP. It's going to be great. She says, with no talent ever.
Look, I'm not even going to go there.
Nope.
No. Moving on.
Moving on to people who do have. What's it? No, that's not. Do a shit one. Go on.
No. Moving on to people that have talent as well, but now they're only going to have half as much talent. I don't know. Arcade Studio co-founder is leaving Arcade Studios, and is kind of going to go and spend some time doing family bits and pieces and sort of thinking about the future, etc. I don't know what to think about this because they've had a bit of a good run.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he's just thought, we've had a good run. I can't keep doing this forever. I've made a nice amount of money. I'm just going to take some time out and spend with my family. Because I'd imagine being the head of a development company like this that's been pushing out games the way they have, I can't imagine you have much. Like, I imagine lots of late nights, lots of weekends of working and stuff like that. I could totally see that being like a thing you want to do, and I'm presuming he's been very well paid as well, so like he probably doesn't necessarily need to.
Yeah, there's a really nice quote. I say nice. There's a quote in Indie Game the Movie where Edmund Macmillan, who makes things like Isaac and Meat Boy, he talks about sort of the later stages of development and the fact that for a long while all his wife ever saw was the back of his head. And you hear stories like that a lot across the development community, and it's very nice to see somebody instead of moving from one studio to another or just saying, hey, whatever, it's nice to see somebody come forward. And as sad as it is that they're leaving, for whatever, it's nice to see them say, hey, I'm going to go spend some time with my family.
And let's be 100% honest about this. This doesn't say he's retiring from gaming production for good. Right. He'll probably spend a year not doing anything and then get super bored and want to get back into it.
Yeah, and it kind of goes in almost every field. In every field that you're super busy in. I mean, even with streaming and stuff like that, there's so much time that you spend so focused on different bits and pieces that, like, you're constantly jumping from like one bit of project to another and trying to build something up over here and whatever else, and kind of realize like I haven't seen like my other half like
I haven't seen Steve for longer than 5 minutes today yet, because I went to bed at 6 a.m. so he was getting up at 6:30. So, you know, we haven't really seen each other today, and that's just because my Friday, Saturday is super busy. You see it everywhere, and I think taking the time out to be like, hey, let's take stuff is great.
Some sort of legacy as well.
Do we know what he actually? I mean, like active hands-on involvement he had in games out of interest, because it's possible that this won't affect the games coming out of Arcane Studios anyway. Like, it could be that he's left enough of a legacy that, you know, that whole process. Because I can't imagine if you're like CEO of a big development like company like that, you actually have that much opportunity to be hands-on developing games, right? Presumably there's so much other stuff you've got to do, and
I would imagine he was probably more in like a direction-y sort of role, you know, kind of let's go down this path rather than a sort of here I'm going to make a tree now sort of level. I don't know.
Sorry. I have a friend who does 3D modeling, and the other day I'm like, oh, so what did you do today? And he's like, I made rocks. It was wonderful.
I think he's the creator of Dishonored.
Do you want to see some rocks?
I'm gonna actually have a look.
And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll see some more. And he gets really excited about that kind of thing. And I imagine that if this person comes from a development background and has moved up, perhaps it might be nice to take a step back and work back up again. You know?
Yeah. I mean, nice. It's refueling as much as anything, I would imagine, as well. Like, you sometimes you just get depleted and you need time to melt hours and whatever else, and then come back to stuff fully refreshed, you know?
Yeah, and it does seem like he was very instrumental in the original Dishonored's development. It's not entirely clear from what I'm reading what he did, but he's listed as co-creator. So...
It's nice to see that caliber of... Oh, my microphone has done the thing again. It's nice to see that caliber of game, though, come out and somebody have that much respect that when they go to step down, people go, hey, that's sad. Like,
hey, how cool is that? Well. Mate, you've got to know you've done a really good job if, like, the community... I mean, we were discussing this before, that even, like, CEOs of big developers are not immune to the sort of hate and abuse that gets thrown around. And like, I'm not saying, like, it's totally unfounded. A lot of them have done things that rightly has drawn the ire of people. I think any, like, actual sort of straight-up ad hominem abuse is wrong. But I think it works both ways, doesn't it? And like leaving enough of a legacy that literally is like you decide to retire and the whole gaming community is like,
yeah, precisely.
That's got to feel pretty good.
Even over something that might only be a break.
Ooh.
Yeah. But the thing is as well, like they've had a good run as well. I mean, you know, Dishonored 2 and Prey both have done really damn well.
I haven't actually played Prey, but I've heard amazing things about it.
Yeah, it's
yeah, and they're well rounded out, and like they have their kind of glitches, as you know, they kind of do, and bits and pieces, but not horrifically so, not game breakingly so. Although Prey had a couple very early on that were very quickly fixed, but like.
Also, did hear that apparently you can speedrun Prey in like 7 minutes or something like that. Something stupid like that.
The formula sort of suggests that you can do what you want with her, and that's kind of neat. That's kind of neat.
But like, it's Fallout 4, you can near enough go straight to the end mission if you wanted to. It's not quite 7 minutes, but you know, that's.
I just always find it kind of amusing when these games that are super long, you can beat in like literally a matter of minutes. It's so weird as well, a lot of the ways.
Grim Fandango, you can do in like weirdest. 2 minutes, I think now.
Really?
Yes. There's a glitch that
I'm gonna have to watch that.
From Manny's office, like straight to the very end.
That's amazing.
Like to the train station at the end? Yeah, you end up there. So, you know, the the one that always
That game
gets
took me so long the first time I played it as well. That game probably took me 12 hours to finish the first time I played it.
Yeah, it took me 3 years the first time I played it. Don't even. But no, the one that always gets me with speedrunning, and I always love bringing this up, is Far Cry 4.
I can't say I've seen it.
So,
one that should
Far Cry 4, at the very beginning, you sit down at a dinner table with the main villain. And he says, wait here, I'm going to go torture a dude. Sit down, enjoy the food. I'll be back in a little bit, okay? So, naturally, you get up and you go to find out where he's gone to torture this dude. Okay? Because, you know, that's what your gaming sense tells you to do. If you sit there and enjoy the food, he comes back 15 minutes later and takes you to the end of the game.
That's amazing. But that's the developers being funny, I think.
Yeah.
That
the
is
whole
just
idea
like
is you've gone to scatter your mother's ashes, right? So he takes you to
I've
a
actually
place.
seen this scene.
Yeah, you can.
I didn't
he takes
realize
you to a
that
place
that's
where
what
you
happened.
can go and scatter your mother's ashes, and then the game finishes. You're done.
I'm sorry,
is-
but like, I can't believe that we're talking about speedruns now at the moment, and somehow I've not managed to mention Club Penguin, because that's the best. You can get backed up of Club Penguin in about 12 seconds flat from creating an account.
Let's not.
I don't even know what Club Penguin is.
Don't look it up. It's not important. Don't. It's just. It's shit. Neopets is what it is. Because Neopets is like it. Neopets is the best. Club Penguin won't ever come close.
Mate, how about Hotel there? But
Let's not. Should we do a move on?
I guess so.
Because we're talking about old things, right?
Well, yeah, we are. But I was going to say, going from someone that's leaving something to something that's leaving the shelves quite quickly. That'll do. So the new SNES Mini Nintendo Ultra Mega Extra Edition, depending on where you're from, because it's called a bit differently in the US to the UK.
And the UK is the better one.
Yeah, of course.
What's that actually called here?
It's the Mini SNES Classic Ultimate something, I think. I don't remember.
So it certainly doesn't have too many names.
Nope. It's different in America to over here. So obviously they're not even like anywhere yet, and they've all gone.
They're not coming out until, I want to say, August.
Yeah. And everybody's pre-ordered them already. They're all gone. And people are already reselling them.
Yep, for like
now
5
that's
times.
just opportunists.
The reason why,
right?
Okay, so there's a bit of a think. So the last time we had one of these consoles, September, there you go. The last time we had one of these consoles, there was a limited supply, and we had scalpers who would buy like 12,000 of them. Okay. This time, we not only have that problem, but we also have the fact that the consoles are different in America and in Europe. The European ones are better than the American ones. So a lot of the American audiences who understand retro gaming are going, hey, Europe have got better ones. Let's import them. And a lot of Americans have pre-ordered European editions of them. So not only have we got the scalper issue, which, you know, is going to be a problem for both sets, but we've also got the problem of the games being different. Is it the games being different over here? Because we get Star Fox 2.
Yeah, and the US doesn't. I'm pretty sure.
It's completely escaped my brain. Again, you'll have to excuse me. I genuinely was up working until 6 a.m, so my brain's not working. But it's something to do with the fact that, and I'm sure it is, that Star Fox 2 is on it. The US one has right, but does it have Star Fox 2? Because Star Fox 2 sort of isn't a game, really. It is, but it isn't. Oh, it has Star Fox 2? Oh, then it's something else. I can't think of what. Steve would know.
Steve?
Steve!
Gavri, you should be guesting on here, not us. We need to get off. We'll just leave Steve to...
But yeah, there's a difference between the American and the European one. So the Americans are getting the Americans are importing it. So
how do they look different?
Yeah, because they did.
Yeah, because they did
At the time.
Really?
I'm pretty sure
I never understand that. There's obviously something I don't understand about.
I just want one of the Famicom ones because the Famicom ones have little holders for the controllers on either side. It's the cutest. I just want one of those. But no, these like you guys. But ours looks like the Japanese Super Famicom rather than the square boxy US one. Yeah, there you go. There
Superior.
you go. That's what it was. Is that ours looks like the Famicom, so the US want those because they're nicer rather than the stupid boxy US.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say I didn't actually realize until now that they even looked different. I literally thought they all looked like I guess we're calling the Famicom one. Yeah.
Yeah. We're getting the Famicom version.
Literally, this is
the Super Famicom version. Sorry.
I didn't even realize there was a different one. That's brilliant.
But the more important part is
we're not having any.
Collectively yellow.
I don't get this. Who gives?
Okay,
who really cares about this?
Right, I do. I have a SNES in this house, and it is yellow, and I hate it. I hate that it is yellow. But no part of me is confident
just a thing,
enough
though.
because you can bleach them, right? It's essentially you can chemical bleach them to make them white again. I like that console. I don't know if I physically feel confident enough to do it.
Thing is,
but it's hideous because it's yellow.
Smoker's yellow, like it's literally you've been smoking 100 a day over the top of it, and it's.
I don't know whether this is because of what I do for a living. So I'll just explain a little bit where I'm coming from with this. But a lot of guitarists use very old guitars. It's like a thing, like because often they're really nice and they'll be looked after for many years and they're beautiful. Shellac was a very common clear coat that they used to use on guitars of that era, and the problem is after 20 years it changes to like a pea yellow, like a really dehydrated pea yellow, but no one cares about that. They care, like, and actually people often like that look, but I don't know, maybe that's why from my perspective I've never really been bothered by that. It's just kind of the nature of I think the things they were using.
For me, it's more of a case of like a guitar, you're constantly handling it and doing whatever you're doing with it, and like you kind of expect it to get wear and tear. This is a box sat on a shelf.
I mean, I suppose that's true.
And if you look at it and it's going yellow, you know you didn't look after them properly. You know you didn't show that. Whereas a guitar you're going to be using, right? So like it's bound to get, you know that you did something bad to make it that horrendous slow guitar yellow.
You say that, but also back then they just didn't really understand what would happen to these plastics over a prolonged period of time.
It's just
in all fairness,
from a kind of mental point of view, like from a kind of mental
absolutely.
Like you look at it and you're like, it's not as nice as it used to be, and I can scrub it all a light, and it's not going to be as nice. And
so they never confirmed what it 100% is that causes them to turn yellow. So it's supposedly something to do with like the chemicals that they put in there to make the plastic flame retardant. But because the console heats up, it kind of does a thing to the chemicals, but not all the time. And sometimes it's only the top, and sometimes it's only the bottom, and sometimes it's both, and sometimes it's neither parts of the console.
Right.
And it's just pure RNG, but it's something to do. I guess it's like different batches that were made that were just sort of different composition of this chemical in it or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but the new one shouldn't do that. Is the message to take away from that? You should retain a nice shiny white console unless you put your grubby mitts all over it after Cheetos.
It's the thing. Like, I'm terrified of putting a console that I bought at a boot sale for like what £4 in a bleach bath, right? I am terrified of taking it up £4. Imagine how terrified I would be for like... Oh, that's another point. Yeah, the Super Famicom and the PAL SNES carts are weird because they're in halves. One half will react differently to the other half, so you have these weird two-tone cartridges.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah, that is odd.
That's weird as well. So you're like, what is it that I've done?
You think they get the same, liquid of the plastic or whatever?
You would have thought so, yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
Weird.
But
I bet you there was some just weird manufacturing reason why they were made out of something
It was just one of
different.
the lads in the factory just pissing in the mix. That's what it was.
oh god.
That's just what it was. He was like, fuck it, no one will know. I don't know why he's from the
God.
north. I'm fairly sure he wasn't from the north, considering
I
it
mean,
was
you never know. I
probably
mean,
somewhere out in the east.
But yeah, we can all be safe in the knowledge that none of us are having one. The only reason that I have one of the NES minis is because I knew somebody who worked at Game who, within the first half hour of the pre-orders going live, not only pre-ordered one, but the second they came in, he put one in a corner and barred anybody from touching it.
Yeah.
I can't do that this time around. So I'm not getting one. And nobody I know is going to be able to get one, I don't think. And that's sad.
And if it's anything like the NES Mini, they made about 12 of them and called it a day.
Yeah.
So if they're going to do the same with the SNES one as well, I mean...
I think they're undertaking that marketing practice of always leave people wanting more.
Yeah,
but
by such a huge margin that they might as well have not done it anyway.
All they've done is upset people.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
All they've done is upset people. I remember when the NES Mini came out, people on Twitter being like, "Look, we'll sell my firstborn child to have one," and then other people being like, "Do you know what, Nintendo? I give up. I'm done with you. I'm absolutely done with you. Your business practices are ridiculous. I'm done."
It's just what I've never understood is it really does sometimes feel like Nintendo are living in a different world to the rest of us, because like some of the decisions they make literally make no sense at all.
I think
it's weird.
It's an Eastern thing.
Yeah,
like,
it's a combination of that, I think.
And sales patterns and techniques and everything are completely otherworldly.
Yeah, I mean that is true. That is true. It is a very different world out there. I know. I've had work, unfortunately, with them. It's a nightmare.
But like Chinese people won't buy a game as a whole, like the Chinese public as a whole will not buy a game, but they will buy freemium stuff and they will watch ads to get freemium content and stuff like that. So the majority of games over in China are freemium style games rather than purchasable games.
Yeah, we have like gacha and stuff, right? Gacha does really well over in China and slightly less well in Japan, but the same kind of market. Whereas over here, we play 3 days of a gacha game and we go, "My God, I hate grinding for enough money to be able to buy orbs. I am done with this bullshit," and away it goes. And it's why there's a diminishing player base for things like Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yep.
Because we don't understand gacha games over here. We don't like them.
No, but if they were a tenner, you'd go, yeah, right, I'll buy it for a tenner, and then I'll have all the stuff, and I'll play my game.
Yep.
That's just a difference in culture.
Yeah.
So that's why Nintendo's tactics, if you see them as that, are so kind of outlandish to us, just because they're outlandish. Like they are not from this land, and things operate differently over there. And that's kind of it.
That is a really good point though. Game said that they will deliver profits this year that are substantially below previous expectations. The company cites continued softness in Xbox and PlayStation business and a disappointing level of supply of Nintendo Switch hardware.
However, if someone refunds postage stamp to game, they get into financial problems.
Yeah, I mean,
very, very unstable.
Taking financial problems a game is. Yeah, I mean, you got to take that with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, unfortunately, having worked at Game, a lot of the practices that go on there are not nice. They're not good.
I'll be 100% honest. It does seem a little bit petulant as well, just being like, we're not making enough money because of fucking Nintendo.
Put it this way,
not giving us enough Switches.
At one point, I had a meeting, right? We all went upstairs. There you go. You guys wanted to see a cart? A two-tone cart?
Two-tone? Oh shit!
Oh wow,
that's really odd, isn't it?
There you go. That's how they.
I like the Blue Peter stylings that we've got going on today. This is fantastic.
It's good, isn't it? But yeah, no.
Here's one I had earlier.
Having worked for Game, being called into a meeting up above and being told you have to sell X amount of mobile phones because the game industry is dying.
Wow.
And then we were all asked in turn, and again, this was people either why we thought the game industry was dying, and we're like, okay, well, we need to push more digital sales. Oh, well, nobody buys digital things. And I'm like, okay, then we need to push more physical sales. We need to push more pre-owned because we get a decent margin on pre. Nobody buys physical games. I'm like, okay, well, what do they come here to buy? Because it's not mobile phones.
Yeah. And also, the figures coming out of the Steam sale, people buy fucking digital.
Yep.
They do.
Yeah, but
there's definitely people spending
money. Somebody in the chat wants to know what game this is. This is just a copy of Kickoff. So this is like age-old FIFA.
Yeah.
This is Kickoff, because it was probably the first one that Steve put his hand on. But you can actually see on it. You can actually see there where the sun damage.
Like, it's literally like drawn with a biro almost.
Yeah.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, they don't buy digital from Game. I think that's the problem, right?
Yeah, they don't buy digital from Game. Then that's.
But I mean, you can't argue that they don't buy. No one buys digital because the reality is that everything is going to that digital marketplace.
Yes.
If anything, I would somewhat agree with physical. It's a store.
Yeah, it's like a GameStop. But yeah, we
so-
would stock walls and walls and walls full of digital. We would bundle digital with everything we could. If there was a game that you thought somebody would like, you would attempt to sell them either the pre-owned version. If you didn't have one, then the digital version.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got tested every week based on how much digital we had sold. It was a thing that we were told to push. They do sell lots of digital because they sell things like Xbox credit, Xbox Live, Steam credit, PS Plus.
But if the thing is, right, so with those credits, they get a margin off of the credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
They sell 20 quid's worth of credit, they'll get £1 back or whatever for selling it, or whatever the margin is, right? Say it's £1, for example. If they sold it for £19.50 for £20 worth of credit, people would come and buy £20 worth of credit for £19.50. They'd still make their 50p every single time that they sold it, and people would buy a shitload more because that's perceived as getting more for less.
One of the things that we used to do was every time you sold a console, you could add on 12 months worth of like Xbox Live or PS Plus. But you could sell it at 3/4 of the price. So you just sold a year's worth of digital, but you could sell it to them for cheaper because they just bought a console. You know, you could even out margins that way. Some of the naughty things that we used to do where you trade in, and I've said this before, and because I hate it, and I hate that I used to be made to do it. You trade in £20 worth of games, you tell them, okay, you've got £15 of in-store credit, and I can give you a free £5 Xbox Live or PS Plus credit.
Mm-hmm.
That's naughty.
Yeah,
that's really naughty. But
fraudulent.
That's the way that we were told to approach things. So I think a lot of this game stuff you have to take with a very serious pinch of salt because a lot of the practices that go on at Game are naughty bad. They are really naughty bad, and it's no wonder they're losing money because they don't promote trust.
But they're a floundering company that's getting pressure from above, that's going down, because they're not being perceived as making enough money. So they put into cost-saving measures and they put into money-making, really tight-ass dickhead maneuvers to make extra money.
But let's be 100% honest about this. There is pretty much no reason for stores like Game to exist anymore. I think. In a lot of areas.
I would disagree because... the way that it works is that we are a growing generation with video games and blah, blah, blah. A lot of parents and things want their children to have video games because the kids are interested in them, but they don't know where to start. Having a physical person to stand in front of you and say, this is the sort of thing that you're looking for is actually more helpful than you'd realize. Again, when I worked
Maybe
at
it just needs to be bundled into other stores because frankly, it's not a big enough market anymore because so many people want to buy digitally. I mean, favorite game's coming out tomorrow. You can either go out and get it at a game and pay extra money, or you can download it literally as soon as it comes out.
Well,
and have it immediately. Who's gonna go to why? What would, unless you are one of those people who loves having physical copies of the game? But again, I don't think there's enough of them left.
I would say though that typically, at least console-wise, digital is usually the same price or more. So it usually pays to get a physical copy,
which makes no sense at all.
It does.
And it's just stupid and something that really Microsoft and Sony need to just fix.
Yep.
But basically, because they levy against the developer and whatever else,
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, I've heard a lot more that I didn't realize some of the stuff that happens with console games before. Because, I so invested in 7 Days to Die, and it released on console, and it's been a bit of an absolute shitstorm, and they've been updating it. I learned about the fact that all updates have to be verified and cost several $1,000s to actually push out on all of the platforms and stuff like that, which is why releasing an alpha game on console is just stupid. Yeah, it just does. It's madness. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is actual madness.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of hurdles there. But as far as the game blaming Nintendo for not giving them enough stock,
yeah, I mean that's kind of a cop out, isn't it?
They never do. Any console, any game, anything that they ever launch, they always have limited stock because they build especially with the consoles, they build super unique stuff that have super unique components and super unique.
Yeah.
There's always going to be short supply. You should know this in advance. You
should know this by now because the console market is so huge now, and they're always going to struggle. And if they're not, then they're probably way too confident. To be honest, because this is the other thing, they've got to manage their supply line. They're not going to spend millions of dollars extra having this massive supply that's just going to sit on shelves.
No,
they want people waiting lists
to build up a stock or whatever else.
Yeah. Exactly.
But anyway, we should probably roll on. So from Nintendo, who are a bit mad, to something that's actually batshit fucking insane.
This story hurts me.
This story
my heart
is me.
Yeah, I read this before because obviously you sent me that thing, and I was just like, "What the fuck is this story?" Even
the maddest thing I've ever read. So. Basically, the FBI had such a dim view of D&D in the 80s and 90s that they thought that a couple of things. The company that did D&D at the time, TSR, before they got bought up by Wizards of the Coast, they thought TSR was some kind of mad front to export cocaine over state borders. And they also thought that because they're a bit weird and a bit niche and whatever else, that they were linked to the Unabomber, or that he might have been a D&D player and they should infiltrate D&D people.
So on the surface, if you just glance at this story and you're like, the Unabomber might have played D&D, it looks like maybe a reasonable avenue of investigation, right?
It looks like a fun article. What are you kidding?
If you actually read any of it, it's actually just craziness. Because when I first saw the headline, I was like, okay, what is this? This could actually sort of make sense, but it just doesn't at all.
It's just bizarre. Absolutely. And again, this as a D&D player who's working on a new kind of 5e homebrewy doodad right now, so I'm elbows deep in mechanics right now.
How much coke?
God, I wish. I might actually be able to stay awake through my stat blocks then. We're having to deal with at the moment 35 different stat blocks for just one map. And if I had coke to help, that would be marvelous. We'd get it done so much bloody quicker. But I understand the paranoia in that kind of time frame. I get it. But really?
I mean, it is crazy. The one thing I would say to all of this is, as an organization tasked with like actually tracking down someone like the Unabomber, it's after 17 years. I mean, there's got to be a load of pressure on you. Like, just imagine the thought of someone sending bombs to people that was doing it for 17 years and had just never been caught. It's actually kind of crazy in itself that it could have gone on for that long, but it also shows that literally it seems to have driven the FBI to actual insanity.
Yeah. But like, basically, they investigated the guy that was he the co-founder or the head of TSR? I was a co-creator of D&D. And they described him as eccentric and frightening, potentially armed, and a known member of the Libertarian Party. So therefore, he must have been like arse deep.
I'm not being funny, right? Anybody who can come up with the sort of stuff that D&D deals with is gonna be a little bit like imaginative.
That's kind of part of the thing. But like, have they ever been to a D&D game? Like, have they ever been?
No, clearly not. Like, very clearly not.
Going outside, except to play D&D with their friends. They're definitely taking large packages of cocaine across state borders.
This is the weirdest thing I think about all of this. It's like they spent loads of time investigating this, but they clearly never actually looked at like a D&D game or anything like that. That's what I find the weirdest about this. It's like they made a decision and then it's almost like a confirmation bias, right? Where they pre-made a decision about something and then just followed it down to something that made it look like it might be a possibility.
Yeah.
It baffles me. To put it into perspective, so we weren't playing D&D, but last night, during a roleplay game that myself and a few other broadcasters were playing, I broke my leg, we blew up a factory, and one of the characters almost died, right? And we were like, oh my god, like my heart didn't stop for the entire game. Because a fake character almost died. A fake character broke her leg. And my heart wouldn't... Can you imagine me with actual drugs?
Do you reckon you'd be handle the pressure of a manhunt from the police? I think you'd be...
It's super apparent. It's super apparent. I'm sorry about spoilers. At least I didn't say who it was. Or what happened. But, it just... they clearly didn't look at these people who get excited over stuff that doesn't actually happen. And who's
so they think rolling the dice is kind of bizarre symbolism for deciding their next target or something. It's like, you've rolled. There's an 18 plus 5. That's Times Square that we're sending the next parcel to. Like,
the one thing I am thinking here as well is that around this time and just generally for the entirety of its existence, the FBI has been involved in some weird stuff, like just in general. Like a lot of the declassified stuff, it's like, and I guess they're paid to be like this. It's like the FBI is just the Federal Bureau of Paranoia. That would probably be like a better name for it,
but
right?
They kind of have to be, right?
I guess they do. But some of it is really crazy. Like, actually, just it's like any normal person wouldn't think like that is actually like a real thing.
Even potential possibility.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I swear, FBI in the 80s and 90s is like having a small speaker attached to the side of Donald Trump's feral animal brain and just broadcasting his bizarre concerns and paranoias about the world. Because that's what it feels like. It's the same kind of mindset of just like, I don't understand it, therefore it must be evil and be like stricken from the record. Like, it's a very similar kind of vibe.
Like,
do you not think so? maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, like, when you look at all the sort of old scripture of everybody who plays D&D is a Satanist. Everybody who plays D&D are doing these sort of Satan worshipping rituals, and you shouldn't allow your children to play D&D because not only does it detach them from reality, but it attaches them to the devil and all this kind of thing. And it's kind of interesting to see how much shit there was.
But like, I can almost see that, because in that game you're worshipping fake deities, which is something that's specifically railed against in the Bible. So you can kind of, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like, oh, that's fair enough.
No, there is a lot of conservative people who you can understand where that view potentially comes from an outside perspective. It's very difficult to understand D&D from the outside. That's the other thing to remember. Like, you know, you could imagine a super conservative, like, parent coming into, like, their kids' like bedroom, and they're sat around a table with a load of people playing D&D, and them just being like, what is going on? Is he trying to contact the devil or something?
But like, your kids are making stories. That's cool as shit.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it is in reality, but
and like I've never understood this, that if you stop and listen even for a second, these people have not only they've not only made their own characters and they're acting as said characters, which is a skill in itself, right? But they're making up these stories and they're making these social connections that are outside of who they are normally. And that's amazing, especially for kids to be doing. Like, that's insane. But...
And it's like, it's social skills almost as well. Like, because, you know, like, speaking as someone that like suffers from like anxiety and stuff like that, and finding difficulty in talking to people, it's literally teaching you how to act with other people, so you can actually do things. Because when you go out and try to like put a face on things, you're acting like a person that can do these things. It's social skills.
Not only that, look at the mathematical side of it. You know, leaving things like probability aside for a second. If you've got to deal with stat blocks, if you've got to deal with rolls, if you've got to deal with advantage, disadvantage, if you've got to roll with oh, my brain's just died.
The homies?
What?
Roll with the homies?
Yeah, that one. I'm literally, my brain's not switched on today, and every part of me's like, just open up your character sheets and look at what the shit is. But like,
nestle inside, don't worry anymore.
For example, like my glaive, I roll my strength, and I roll +3, and I roll +1 on various different rolls. Like, I've got to do all this maths on the fly because my sheet doesn't do it for me, and that's really that really helps.
And it keeps your brain alive and kicking and processing and whatever else. In, like, you know, like was it fucking Professor? No, not Professor Layton. Kawada's brain training. The brain training thing.
Yes,
on
the one that Tassimo bot does. Tassimo bot? That's not right. Tassimo's a coffee maker. Hang on.
It's a skill. No, whatever it was. Professor Doodly Doo brain training.
Yeah, I know. The one that they sell in Poundland for like 3 pence now.
Yeah, but like that, you know, the little arithmetic things and whatever else.
Sorry, I'm being called out in chat for the fact that Tassimo is a coffee maker, and I'm just like, but you know
fine.
what I mean.
Dr. Kawashima, he's not a professor.
Nespresso brain training. That's the kind of brain training I need today.
I like that latte.
I hate you.
But yeah, like stuff like that, you know, like the arithmetic that keeps your brain kind of limber and like thinking about things and ticking over and whatever else. Like, that's the same sort of thing. It's, you can ascribe that across to the way that that D&D, working out all the little roles and the different bits and pieces that you have to do. It's a similar sort of thing.
Right.
So
right.
Can we move on?
Can we please?
From this struggle?
Should we move on? Should we move on to the fact? I mean, I don't think chat can see this, but you seem to be like surrounded by energy drinks. Well,
oh, I am.
I've just noticed.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
literally, like
it's like a religion.
That's how I managed to converse to this level. Can you imagine how bad I'd be without?
I can see at least 4 cans of what appear to be Monster there.
Yeah, that's what I need today. That would be my Nespresso brain training today. Like,
I'm gonna start picking things out in your background in a minute, Ed.
Oh yeah, that my
I was
bed's
gonna
not
say,
made.
don't look at don't look at mine. You can't see anything that I haven't unpacked this room yet.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
So speaking of unpacking, did you do that on purpose, Pip? I swear you did. So Star Wars Battlefront 2. So we've kind of seen a bit of reveal about that at E3. And then
can I just preface this, but who's surprised by this, really?
Oh, I'm not surprised in the slightest, but they're going to add more of these fucking crate things in where, you open them up and you get buffs and skins.
Oh, hey, look, it's Overwatch.
Yeah, it's just,
And we finally understand where they're going to make their money from. There's not going to be DLC, but you'll be able to buy as many of these boxes as you want for real money, won't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really tempted to ban Gunning right now in chat. He's like, that sounds like a great idea.
We didn't need you here in the first place, Gunning Rage. I make all the dad jokes here, sunshine.
Like that's my favorite kind of Twitch chat, right there.
Yeah, dad jokes, man. Yeah. Bring me all the dad jokes. But and this is bad, and this is it's not bad, but it's just annoying, and it's just tedious. They add it into COD. For like all of these sort of extra boosts and helmets that last for so long and toss like that. You've always had the battle packs in Battlefield, and you've got them in Battlefield 1, so you can get a skin for your gun that, because it's World War I related stuff, actually looks about as attractive as a Puckadanus, because they're all just like these really shabby, horrible skins and whatever else. And there's kind of a step further than this. So not just Battlefront 2, but also Ubisoft are being extra scummy with their crates for The Division, where they were like, no crates in The Division. That would be crap.
No. Now. You have to get this right, because it wasn't no crates, it was no microtransactions.
Oh, no. Well, yes, no microtransactions at all.
Yeah.
Except for the ones we're going to put in for the crates.
I mean, I'll be honest. What I think is really horrible about this, and unfortunately, we as the consumer in general have full responsibility for this, really, because we accept it. But we have built the situation where this is an acceptable thing, I think, because people actually buy them.
I've never bought.
I know, I haven't either, but someone does, and it makes the problem is that now all these developers have this DLC budgeted in, although now we're not selling any DLC, it's all going to be free. We still have this black hole in our finances that we're going to have to fill somehow. So actually, I mean, which they don't have at all. Actually,
Pip's looking at concerns, which is part of the problem. When you're looking concerned, did you buy card packs? Because I wouldn't say they're quite crate.
Right. So I bought Overwatch crates, and I will tell you for why. Okay. So
there's no forgiving you. We're done. Friendship's over.
Overwatch crates, I bought because all my friends were playing the events. And I was working really hard at the time, and I didn't get the same chance to play. But I wanted the skins that were going for the events, because, when I'm not working hard, I do like to play some Overwatch. I didn't have the time to play the event, and once the event was over, I was never going to be able to get those skins. And that is a fundamental problem, and I wholly admit I should not have bought those, because I'm then telling Blizzard it's perfectly okay for me not to be able to buy the event skins.
But this is the whole problem in a nutshell, I think, is that they make these situations where they're not forcing people, obviously. They're not holding a gun to anyone's head, but they're making it so if you're not, you're just this pleb who doesn't have anything.
Right.
If you're not spending money on the game or grinding the absolute ever-loving shit out of it. And And it bleeds into everything because, like, this is going to sound like it's totally non-related, but just as an example, this game that's coming out, Ubisoft are making, that is based on the Black Flag pirate engine, the sailing engine. I can't remember. Yeah, it's something like that. I think everyone in their right mind has been thinking, what I really want is someone to take that and spin that into a really cool single-player pirate game.
Yep.
What they did is spin it into a multiplayer pirate game where they're blatantly going to have loads of DLC and microtransactions, and people aren't going to have to just play it once, and then there's going to be no replay value. And the whole industry, like, the games are all multiplayer based. Like, single player games are basically dead now, because there's no way to extra monetize them.
Yep.
And it's like we are being pushed into this situation as well.
And I think you can cry all day that, oh, well, it's not a problem because it's vanity-only items, right? But when you have a human... they're playing essentially on the human condition where, again, like, I play a fair bit of Overwatch when I can. I play a fair bit of HOTS when I can, okay? So I go into a game and so-and-so's like, hey, I've got X skin. You don't. No. I'm like, well, shit. I don't have that skin. That fucking sucks. I guess I'll try and get... And I know that makes me a weak human being. I know it does. And I shouldn't buy these crates. But there's a lot of social pressure behind vanity items. And I think potentially that's as bad as selling in-game... Perhaps not... Yeah, no, I think that's as bad as selling actual in-game items that would power you up or do whatever. I think it's as bad. Because we go into these games, these multiplayer games, and I mean, like, I play a lot of D.Va, for example. I don't have the new D.Va skin. So when people are like, oh, do you have the new D.Va skin? I have to sit there and go, actually, no. I don't.
But let's be brutally honest about this. I genuinely think when it comes to games like Overwatch as an example, but there's so many of them, and I don't want to single out Overwatch. I just can't think of many right now. The whole design process from the beginning starts from how can we make the most money from someone. It's not how can we make the best game. It's literally, like, I genuinely feel like a lot of these games start off from the basis of how do we make the most money. And that right there, I think, is the inherent issue. Because it can be as nice, play as nicely as it likes and whatever. You haven't had someone be there, like, from the beginning, like, I want to make the best game possible, which is why, like, I think indie games are where the real heart of the gaming industry is right now. Like, I can think of so many indie games where it's just not like that at all. And it makes me wonder what the actual future of AAA game developers really is. Because, yes, you are going to have lots of people playing Battlefront and stuff like that, but there's also going to be a lot of people who are put off massively by all of these things.
But some are sort of such behemoths that it almost doesn't matter. Like, you'll play them anyway.
It's true.
Overwatch is one of those behemoths. It's a Blizzard game. They're so huge. You're going to play it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so what? Skull and Bones, right? I guarantee. What do you think it's going to be? Either keys for premium treasure chests, or it's going to be some premium cannons that you can.
Yeah, exactly.
There's going to be some form of ship outfitting,
or even like it was in For Honor, which should be pointed out is another Ubisoft game where you can basically just buy everything. If you pay money, you can literally just buy your way to the end of the game.
And the devs will tell you that. The devs outwardly have said, the way that we designed this game was so that you couldn't unlock everything naturally. You would have to buy at least something. And I'm like, pardon?
Yeah, I know. It's an amazing world we live in where a game developer will literally come out to you and say, I'm going to scalp the shit out of you. And like literally people will lap it up. And that's the scary thing.
But no, that actually reminds me. So Overwatch, the last event that they did, someone did the maths, and apparently, if you basically gamed every waking hour of the time that the event was on, you would just about be able to get every legendary skin based on odds and number amount of XP gained across amount of time of events and blah. Like literally every waking hour of every day of the event, and you would just about be able to get every legendary skin. It's a system designed to push you towards.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'll be 100% honest about this. For Honor really changed a lot of things for me, just in my opinion. Because For Honor as a game is absolutely fantastic. It's like one of the most fun games ever, but it was literally destroyed by that whole structure that they had on it. And I have so little desire to play that game, partially because of that and the way that like encouraged that. And you know that some people did it and were way ahead of you, and it just became so frustrating, like as an experience. And it actually feels like a fantastic game that was ruined by someone literally saying, well, how can we maximize profit margins here?
Well, and also it was P2P servering as well.
Yeah, but again, that's the same thing. Why didn't they do dedicated servers? Because it would have cost them more money.
Yep.
So like, it's literally, it all comes down to that one tenet of like profits over everything.
One tenner.
Yeah.
Profit, pretty much. And it's just so, I don't know. I guess, it's someone's choice, but whether they want to make these purchases and whatever else. But
yeah, absolutely.
When you're pushed into doing it by either, pay to win for a game or pay to keep up with your friends because you kind of almost have to, because getting them naturally is not really possible.
And I mean,
I'm not so keen.
Again, like, I'll reiterate this because I know there's a whole bunch of people who disagree with me, and that's okay. But as far as having cosmetic only items in these boxes, that's great, because for some people they won't give a shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a huge issue with that personally. If that's how they want to make money, I don't really have an issue with that.
You have to admit that in the case of Ubisoft, where they've said there weren't going to be any, and now they've said they're vanity only, you can't give the vanity only excuse there, because vanity only does come with a social pressure to own them.
Yeah, and also I just think like that is just one of these things that is becoming way more common, where it seems to be acceptable for companies to just totally go back on things they've said.
Yeah.
Because they need a bit more money or whatever it actually is. Like, they just decide. Yeah, I think, like, basically, actually, I think one of the things that is really important here is that as consumers, we do not have anywhere near as much right of recourse with games and software in general as we do with normal products. Like, if you go and buy something and you think it's crap, you can take it back. And like, there are laws to protect you around this sort of stuff, right? What do you do if you buy a game and you think it's crap? Steam are helping.
In a game? If you go to a game store and you hand the disc over and you say, this game is crap, I don't like it, do you know what we do? We push it back at you and we laugh.
Offer you a refund for about 2/3 of the value.
Yeah.
Yep. You can trade it in, but as you say, it'll be about 2/3 of the value. If you think a game is crap, that's not on us. And
I think that's why also that game developers and just games in general just like sometimes draw such vitriolic kind of reactions on social media. It's because people just don't have the right of recourse they do in almost every other walk of life. You just literally, you can't do shit. Like, what can you do if you bought a game, you played it for 5 hours, and all of a sudden you're like, this is crap? And let's be honest, 2 hours and returning a game, it's a start, but it's not good enough.
No.
How many games have you played where you just don't know enough about it after 2 hours? Really? Like, obviously, if it's absolutely terrible, like, you'll be able to tell.
He's saying that he traded Final Fantasy 15 at the game and got a tenner for it. I'm surprised they gave you a tenner for it, because that's about £3,000 too much for that game. Fuck me, it was terrible.
Shall we, talking about refunds,
kind of transitioning, I guess, into our next topic here. So we may as well kind of dive into it, because it's kind of an interesting, the other side of the coin almost, I guess. And that's, along with the Steam sale, Steam refunds have gone through the roof. Like absolutely gone through the roof. They received like over 200,000 refund requests in a day, and that's not necessarily saying that they did get the refund, but odds are, like with the way that Steam refunds are processed, odds are you're gonna get your refund because you write shit bollocks tits bastard in the comment for the refund, and they'll just automatically refund it anyway. So yeah, the day that the sale started, 315,000 refund requests.
I mean,
Goodness.
what I think is this is an awkward one, I think, because obviously right now there's been plenty of game developers and publishers who've said that the system hurts them, and I get that because it's tough. But let's be honest, every retailer, every manufacturer, every other business has to deal with this stuff. And I'm sorry to say this to indie developers, but I think they've got to live in the real world where the situation has, and it's exactly what we were just talking about. The situation right now in software in general, and it's not only games, is really not acceptable compared to the rest of the way things is. And I think this is just natural. If you're selling games for 60% off, people are going to take a chance on a game that they weren't sure about, and sometimes they're going to hate that and give it back.
But I think the protection that should be given, and it doesn't directly apply to this perhaps because this is more of a knee-jerk purchase play refund more or less within 10 minutes or so of the bloody process, but like in a general vibe, like my kind of thought is it should be time limited. You buy the game and then you have a month to play 2 hours of it, and then you can refund it. If it's beyond the month, you've bought it, you've accepted it, you've got it, and that kind of falls almost in line with a lot of other products. Well, certainly in the UK anyway. If you buy an electronic item, for example, nothing's gone wrong with it, but you want to return it because you didn't like it, you normally get 28 days. Whether you've used it, it's been, unboxed or not or whatever else. Like, it doesn't matter. You can just return it, no questions asked. So, like something like that, at least that's a level of protection, because it's much the same with like chargebacks to streamers, right? So you can't touch your money for X amount of time in case you get a chargeback because of like the limitations on when people can activate chargebacks, for example. Well, it's much the same way. Like indie people, they just can't touch their bank account ever because someone might, 500 people might decide to refund their game 2 years from now, that they just suddenly decide that they want to refund the game or whatever else. That's just not a feasible, maintainable system. But then Steam for you, I suppose. Steam systems are a bit mad. But
someone in the chat, King said that games are developed like movies. But the thing is, you can walk out of a movie and ask for your money back, and you can do that.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't. But you can do that.
You have the choice to. Whereas again, we had a thing in game where when Project Cars came out, that you had to have like the online to be able to play it. Right. So people would bring it in and go, "It's broken," and I'm like, "Okay, do you have PS Plus?" No. Okay, well, it's not broken. You don't have online capabilities to be able to play it. You need to buy this. And somebody'd go, "Okay, then it's crap and I don't want it, I want a refund." And at that point you'd go, "Do you know what? It's not our fault that it's crap. Whatever." Whereas with all these other forms of media, if you don't like it within X amount of time, you can ship it back.
So there's some disparity there.
Yeah, for sure. But again, we've gone out of the habit of having demos. Instead of demos, we now have YouTube and we have Twitch.
Yeah.
If you want to see how a game plays, you go on to Twitch.
That's basically your option, yeah.
Yeah.
But we spoke about this a little while back. I don't know if it was the week that you were away, actually, Pip. I can't remember. But about the DRM stuff with Rhyme, the game. Were you?
Yeah,
I think that was a week.
Oh.
You was on that one? I
so.
forget. Either way, like we were talking about like the DRM stuff and whatever else. And I mentioned the fact that like demos aren't even necessarily worth the megabytes they're downloaded for, because they're not going to keep updating that demo.
No, that's true.
Why would you keep updating the demo? Like you just wouldn't. You wouldn't commit manpower to it. So, I come along and I want to play this game 6 months after release. So I download the demo, see if it runs on my PC, and it runs and it's wonderful. And then I buy and download the actual game, and it doesn't run because they've changed it and they've updated it in such a way that it starts chewing up processing power and whatever else, and then I need to refund that game. So even demos nowadays are less pertinent because of the how rife updating and patching and whatever else is, and sweeping changes to systems and whatever.
Right.
So it's very hard to even use that as kind of a defense of well, we don't have demos and that's why. It's there's only so far they can go nowadays. But yeah, 330,000 copies of Rust have been refunded total.
Right, but that's only something like 6% of the user base of Rust.
Wow.
It sounds like a really big number, but actually it's not. Those people have good taste, yes. But that's you've got to remember that sounds like a really big number, but that's
it does. You're right.
That's about 6%.
They sold a lot of them. They sold a hell of a lot of copies of that game.
Yep. I don't understand why.
No.
I'm not convinced.
After having played it to death, I don't really understand why.
No. I think 330,000 is quite a slim number. Actually, no, it's quite a large number because I'm startled that many people bought it in the first place. But but it's an interesting field, and like I don't know, like it does feel like that people misuse the Steam sales to a degree by doing this.
But, I totally agree with you. But what I think is interesting here in all of this is that Steam is actually kind of ahead of the curve here in a lot of ways, because what I do for a living, we rely on very expensive software. You buy that and you find you have a problem with it, they literally just laugh at you, right? They literally will just laugh at you. And you spent 500, 600, 700, 800 quid on this bit of software. And literally you have zero recourse. So the funny thing is that Steam is actually very much ahead of the curve on this at the minute.
Well, I think EA do it through Origin as well. I forget what their time frame is. Yeah. But they do some kind of refundy if you're not completely happy within a certain period, doodly do. But I don't think you play do shit, but then you play can't even build
I like to call it you don't play personally.
Yeah. The launcher is fucking horrific alone.
The one thing that I wish Steam did, in partnership with developers who have shorter games, is I wish that they would put in a marker for X amount of progress in the game completed. So even if you've completed the game in under 2 hours, or you've completed X amount of the game in under 2 hours, you shouldn't be able to refund that.
And maybe it takes into account cost of game, like if it was under $5 or something and you completed it in that sort of time.
Yeah, precisely.
If you're charging like $50 for a game that's like an hour and a half long, you're probably overcharging, and did that to
The Order of 1886.
Oh, now me and you are going to have a disagreement about The Order, because I thought The Order was
The Order was cool,
but clever.
It was cool, but it was really expensive.
Yeah, it was really expensive. But yeah, no,
don't get me wrong. I thought it was really cool. It just was. It
was expensive for what it was. No, I have this thing where I feel like if we could have some kind of progress cap on these, games that are good value for money for the length that they run, that'd be
there's some
great.
finagling to do in there, isn't there? There's some kind of
don't get me wrong. It's not easy.
No. Oh no, there's no easy
solution not easy.
to any of this.
Yeah, no, there's no good solution to this.
Well, it probably is, but it requires a bit more thought than we're willing to give it.
Literally, it's going to take a while of playing, I think.
It requires maths, and I'm not good at maths.
No.
And even though I played a bit of D&D, and I've not become a bomber or a cocaine smuggler, but I maths.
That's all right. We'll work on that. We'll work on that next month. It's fine.
The cocaine or the
D&D? The D&D. Doesn't matter. Let's move on. Let's talk about other shit things because
So, yeah,
we're done talking about shit games.
We did mention Final Fantasy 15 earlier. So Final Fantasy 15's got another fucking wank game to add to its repertoire.
And we're not talking about the fishing one either.
Yeah. Fucking Prince Fumble Cunt's Fishy Adventure. That can piss off enough. Fucking VR fishing mini game. But instead of adding it as a DLC or even a free DLC to the original game, they're like, fuck it, we'll sell it as a separate thing and have Noctis wade around in a pair of fucking wellies in lakes forevermore with a VR headset strapped to some poor bastard's head while he fishes endlessly in a fucking pond.
Do you know what's really sad? I would totally go for a VR fishing game, but I hate
Yeah.
I would go. I fucking hate the fishing in Final Fantasy 15.
What?
I
could imagine that being quite nice and relaxing, actually.
Nice and chill soundtrack, lots of nature.
But not FF15 with Prompto over the side going,
No.
oh, yeah, you did. I'm going to take a picture of it now. It's going to be great. I'm going to fuck Cindy. She's going to love it.
I'm going to advertise this product.
It's going to be great.
Cup noodles! Like, just... And
I don't need it.
Like,
but anyway, that's not even the one.
That's not it's not the one we're talking about. We're talking about this gacha piece. Is it a gacha
Wait,
game?
so hang on. Have they actually done a fishing spin-off of...
That's another thing that they announced at E3 during the Sony conference because that was something worth announcing and not just shitting out on a table somewhere.
I want to love Squeenix because they like release some really cool games, but then they also do some weird as hell stuff.
The thing is, they worked so hard on Final Fantasy 15 for so long. It feels like they're trying to get every last piece of development.
They can't let it go, can they? They just can't let it go. Like someone's just said, like maybe we should consider like moving on from Final Fantasy, and they're like, get the hell out of this office right now. You don't say those words here.
Like as I say, like I would adore a fishing game, or I could put on my headset and I could sit with a waterfall and just fish.
Make a bass fish in 2017. That's what I want.
Right.
VR.
Right, in VR, yes. And I want to be able to look down and see my fucking chair that I'm sat in. I want my cold one in the side. And I want to sit down and do some fishing, right?
Even go so far as to sell me that shitty little peripheral that's like a cut fishing rod with the real one. Sell me that as well. I'm fine with it.
Yep.
Just not the fucking shitty, I've discovered a new recipe. I'm going to cook this bream you've just caught into some delicious thing that's going to be over-texturized because we spent all the fucking dev time.
I'll be honest. My mate.
It's a monster. Wah! Like
my housemate, I swear to God, at one point I thought was going to smash his PlayStation 4 because he's one of these people that has to do like everything in games. And he was playing Final Fantasy, and like I could see him just getting angrier and angrier, like being sent to kill these things for like another recipe or some shit like that, or to take a picture. And like, he actually finished it in the end. Is the ridiculous thing. He spent like 110 hours or something stupid like that. And then what did he follow that up with? Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh, great!
And he just stopped playing games for like a couple of weeks after that.
At any point, did he just take a chainsaw to his groin as a more pleasurable experience? Because but anyway, right? But like, we haven't even touched on the actual.
Yeah, no. Let's talk about this village building gacha. Yeah.
Is Final Fantasy 15 a new empire? So this is like part of the ever-expanding swath of shitty Final Fantasy 15 related toss.
Oh God, no way! It's a city, but
it's a city builder, which is like the same as. I don't know, like any one of 1,000.
The Viking one, Clans of Vikings or what? Clash of Vikings or whatever it's called, where you have to build the blacksmith, and then you have to build the something else, and then it takes you 3 weeks to build the something else.
You know what though? I have to say, I did weirdly used to play an online game that was kind of the epitome of that. You literally. All you did was you had a character and you went and did a thing for a few hours. That was literally it. And all you did was click on that thing and it would be like, you're doing this for 4 hours. And like, that was literally it. That was the whole game.
I downloaded it and I played it because I just wanted to see. I was like, maybe they'll make something of this franchise and it'll be halfway fun. No, bollocks was it. This is even worse than most of those games. I played maybe 10, 15 minutes, and it already got to the point of you basically need to pay to progress.
Oh, grim.
Oh, wow.
It was so swift.
Mind you, they're not the only. I mean, like, people do this all the time. There was a dungeon keeper.
Oh, that was horrendous.
Yeah, that literally, because that was one of my favorite games as a kid.
That broke my
Dungeon
soul.
Keeper. Yeah, exactly. It was just like, oh, how could they do this to like one of my favorite franchises ever?
Theme Park. They did it with Theme Park as well, where you had like you plonk down rides and they'll cost a fortune and whatever else. And...
I tell you what, let me do a quick plug in here real quick. If you guys want a mobile game that is actually good, that you can take time away from, but is kind of relaxing in the same breath, go and download Tiny Rails. Play the shit out of Tiny Rails. Tiny Rails is amazing. It's a game where you take over your grandfather's train business. And you get pieces of your train, and you've got to take your train all across the country and buy and sell goods and carry people back and forth and make sure that they've got toilets and stuff. And as you're going from station to station, obviously you've got some wait time, right? So what it does is it gets rid of the UI and you just watch these pixel environments go past. So you can switch your phone off and your phone will be like, hey, you know, you're coming up to your waypoint soon. Or you can just sit there and watch these beautiful pixel like things go past.
You go past like, because it's like across the North America, you go past like well-known monuments.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can take pictures of them for extra XP.
That's cool. It actually looks really pretty.
Neat. Yeah, it's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. So if you guys need a fucking decent game to play, don't play this shit. This is rubbish. Don't play this shit. Don't trust any of this. Don't trust these horrible gacha games.
Even better. In the 10, 15 minutes that I played before I hit that wall, I think it crashed about 5 times.
Oh, Jesus gods. Why?
And it's just like, why?
I don't...
Why you did?
Yeah,
and it's just part of the issue, though, because like, it seems now that every AAA game has to have some companion app, some companion game, some fucking wank extra stuff that's thrown alongside it. Here's a flash game that we cobbled together in 10 minutes. It can play whilst you wait for it to load or whatever. And it's just so arbitrary and it's so redundant. Like, none of these games are decent games in their own right. They're just kind of tacked on to the franchise in a very transparent way because, you know, Jim happens to know someone across over in shitty Game Ports R Us over in some other office that makes this type of game, so we're just going to slap a name on it and roll with it.
There was a good example of that. There was a good example of a game doing that, and I don't remember whether it was Dragon Age or not. I think it was Dragon Age, but I'm not entirely sure. The way that it worked was if you hadn't played the earlier games, it would take you through a story of what had happened, and you could make the decisions that mattered.
That's quite cool.
Which you could do in a mobile app or just in the fucking game.
Well, I mean, it was an optional thing that they suddenly realized, hey, this would be good, but we don't have the dev time to put it in as a, like, in the game. We'll make it an optional thing. And that worked.
You could stick that in a browser.
Yeah.
A mobile app. You can just bang it into a web browser thing and do it that way or whatever else. Like,
oh god, the Pip-Boy app.
I mean, that was a novelty thing. And
it was to go with their collector's edition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could feasibly use it if you really want it, but it was...
Not on a screen, that's more you couldn't.
It was just a novelty thing.
It wasn't very useful.
But...
It was a cool idea. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I mean,
but it wasn't terribly practical.
No.
But yeah, it just irks me because there's no value in them, and they're just really clearly pointlessly slapped on, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they're just there because they can ride on the name, and nothing more.
Yeah, that's literally it. And I think, unfortunately, it's literally there is this capitalist thing because so many of the AAA devs are these big multinational corporations now, where it is literally, it doesn't matter what the developer wants anymore. Like, it's literally,
because Square Enix are really good with the indies.
Yeah,
They supported and pushed out and promoted so many fucking fantastic indie games.
that is
And-
true. I just got a code for one that I'm so excited for.
Which one?
Black the Fall.
Oh,
I've been waiting for it
yes.
since Res last year. I actually had a little play of it the other day, and it's freaking awesome.
But yeah, they've been pulling out loads of really cool stuff, and they don't need a fucking piece of shit slapped onto the side of them, whatever.
Right.
It bugs me.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, you are right, and it's kind of worrying when companies like Square Enix are doing it as well. I think because you expect that sort of stuff
that would do it. Like, they seem to be one of the ones that kind of hold. Even though I disagree that Final Fantasy 15 really had that much value to it as a game and whatever else, and on the grand scheme of things, usually their games are pretty good. Like
maybe, and I don't see how this would do this, but let's just be charitable for a little minute. But maybe their thought is, the mobile market's so big, maybe we can get a couple of people to like come play our other games from the mobile games. But the problem would be that would have to be a good game first.
Yeah, to get them interested in.
The thing is, as well, on the App Store, at least the Google App Store, or Google Play Store, should I say, the entire top banner, which is usually latest games and whatever else, and it scrolls across, and it's like promoted slots. Right. All of the slots of this game.
Wow.
They've literally purchased every single slot, so it's all just different screens from this piece of shit game.
Before you get to the charts and everything, there's an ad for it, and there are 3 different ads within that first ad. In new and updated game, it's right there. It's in the top spot.
That top bar, if you scroll across, it's all 7 panes.
Oh, I've only got 3 panes, but
really?
they're all Final Fantasy.
Oh, I think if you go into games rather than just the stories,
okay.
It's all 7 panes.
The other thing is, it's only got a rating of 3.6 right now.
That's fucking generous.
The first couple of results for it are miserable.
Yeah, because it's great. 3.6 is super generous. It's 2 if you really, really enjoy fucking wanking your money up the wall.
Right. What's actually called?
This is Final Fantasy 15, A New Empire.
A New Empire, yeah.
A whole new empire.
Oh God. Should we move on to some good games? Should we do our game recommendations for this week? Because we've got some good ones this week, and I'm fed up of talking about shitty mobile games because they upset me a great deal.
Why would you want to not talk about the wonderful
Talk about Dr. Decker, please.
So I'm yet to finish this.
I've still got this so bad.
Maybe a quarter of the game left, something like that. And I kind of stopped because my brain was melting.
Oh, I saw a bit of Savage playing this. It seemed really cool.
Bad. So,
except for the fact that one of the people is a really bad actor that it just was really distracting me.
But I have almost fetish levels of enjoyment of FMV games. There's just something I really, really enjoy about them. Yep. So I play interestingly enough, one of the actors from Contradiction is in this game.
Did you play The Bunker? Because that was really cool. I enjoyed that.
The Bunker I have this warm, soft spot in my heart for because it was literally developed around the corner from me.
Yeah. It was a really, I really enjoyed it. It was different.
Yeah.
It was a great
anything I played. It was more of an interactive
They've got another one out now.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh, I'm going to have to check that out.
Mm-hmm.
But you've also got Her Story. That was great.
That was great.
Stories Untold, almost kind of in that. It wasn't an FMV game, but it felt like it was almost an FMV game at points. It was very in that space. I mean, even some of the older ones, back on the PS1, they had an X-Files game that was all FMV, and it was really kind of weird. But this, so the premise
I wish I could play this on the mic. I literally played the X-Files sound when you said that.
Right.
But you can't hear it.
So it's an FMV game where you are taking over from Dr. Decker for a bunch of psychiatry patients. Dr. Decker's hopped the twig. Is that even a right turn of phrase, kick the bucket. Anyway, he's dead, Jim.
But not as we know.
Yeah, well, quite possibly. You never know. And your task is not only to treat all of these patients with their various ailments and issues of their mental health, but also to find out which one of them did it, which one of them killed him. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool premise, and that seems kind of fun, and it seems like it's got a lot of intrigue, and it's randomized every time, so you there's no way of knowing who it was until. Like, there's not huge amounts of replay value, but it's done to stop spoilers, basically, which is kind of cool. But as you get into it, and I'm not going to go too far into it because I don't want to spoil it for anyone.
Yeah, because I want to play.
But like, the further you go into it, the further you're like, this isn't as simple as it appears on the surface, and there's a lot of weird shit going on, and a lot of points kind of coming together that don't quite add up, and there's kind of is this a paranormal?
Don't you also have to like type in your questions as well?
Yeah,
right? It's not like multiple choice. It's literally you've got to. Yeah,
you literally have to process what they say and pick out what are the important points to quiz them on.
Kind of like Her Story then, where you pick up on keywords and you look up the name.
Yeah. But you physically type the question to go. The right answer or whatever else, then they'll just have like I have no idea kind of.
You might need to repeat that because my cable is snapping in my microphone and it just snapped right out. So you might want to try that once more for me.
Okay, I can certainly hear you again now.
Good.
But so I've lost my train of thought. But yeah, so like the different bits and pieces that you say back and forth to them, you have to make sure that you're picking up the right thing or whatever else. Otherwise, they're just be like, I don't know. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, they have no idea what you're on about. But even then, when they say, I don't know what you're talking about, there might be something in what they say when they say that they don't know or they're evading a question that's worth pressing on, even though it's not directly there. And it's all very cleverly put through. And then kind of cross-referencing between some of the patients to nail them down. It's just really fascinating. And it's really, unless you're sort of paying super attention to the commonalities and like the linkages between different things that they're saying and stuff that they say kind of offhand, you won't get what you're supposed to be asking them about and what direction you should push them in. It's just
I reckon I would have trouble playing this game.
The only thing is, though, there are some iffy bits. Like some of the acting is a bit here and there, and there are points where like you can accidentally ask them something at the end of the conversation through like a normal, sensible leap of logic, and then they'll start talking about something as if they've already said the 5 things before that.
Yeah,
some kind of breaks in process that kind of.
That's one of the things I did notice about it.
So at one point, I'm talking about a certain figure, and I'm like, "Who? What? I don't know where they go. I didn't even know they fucking existed. Like, I have no idea." So there's a bit of chafe in there, but other than that, the game's really cool. It's like £8.
Oh damn! Is it really?
Yeah, 7-8 quid, something like that. I forget exactly, but the more than worth, I would say. Like, if it's your kind of thing, if you're into like the sort of FMV games or whatever else, I've got 6 hours out of it so far, and I'm not finished yet. £7.
Damn.
Not actually on the Steam sale because it's like only just come out, more or less. It came out last month. But yeah, £7. I've already got 6 hours out of it, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through. I probably will run through it with another playthrough, so I'd say value for money is there as well. That's my pick for the week.
Sweet. Englander wants to know if it's as good as Night Trap on the Sega Mega CD, but nothing will ever be as good as Night Trap ever. So we're not going to dignify that question with an answer. No. Shall I go next? Because Ed, I want you to talk a little bit about yours, because there's a really weird thing going on with your game, and I'm
This
kind
is
of
fucking like conspiracy theory level tinfoil hat bullshit. But
Yeah,
it's
so-
kind of weird.
yeah. So let me
I
let
have to
me
say.
let me
Have a
really
way.
quick let me quickly plug mine, and then we'll go. So I've been playing a lot of Darkest Dungeon, but Darkest Dungeon was my thing last week. I hate survival games. I am done with survival games. I can't do them anymore. So I've been playing Subnautica. Subnautica is wonderful, and I wish there was co-op. For you guys who don't know, Subnautica is the story of you as you crash out of space in your giant spaceship, and it blows up in front of you as you are stuck on this planet that is pretty much entirely water, and you have to dive for resources. You have to dive for plants, for food, to be able to get water. And the way that Subnautica is now going is that they've managed to put in this really bizarre alien story. And it is wonderful and terrifying. And the way that they've managed to weave this narrative into a survival game.
Oh wait, there's actually story now?
Yeah, there is.
I still haven't actually played it, so maybe now's the time to actually do it. I own it.
It's
Just
not
stop
quite
playing the
there
game
yet.
I recommend and actually play something else for a fucking change.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not quite there yet, but there's story, and then there's a bit more story, and then there's shit. How the fuck do I put this together? So
Okay.
it's getting there, and I know there's this thing of games never come out of early access, and we're all done with survival. This is wonderful. They've altered the balance since I played it on stream once, and a guy who did the QA for it came in and roasted me because I was on about balance, and the fact that a load of the balance was skewed to hell and it was wrong, and it made the game practically unplayable. And the guy came in and basically went, "You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about." So I stopped playing. Since then, they've changed the balance, so it's now actually playable. It's buggy as shit. But if you can get it to run decently, it is an experience and a half, and I adore it. I absolutely, absolutely adore it. It's full of atmosphere. It's full of really clever crafting. It's really full of this clever narrative that they're weaving into the experience. Is really, 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 really clever. And I like it. I really like it. And as I say, I'm done with survival games. I'm done. But I'll play the shit out of this. This is wonderful. And I hope...
Yeah, I need to play that.
I hope to death there's co-op on the horizon. I hope to death there is co-op on the horizon. Cook Food may say, yeah, there's a couple of issues still where they're working through things. I think their main focus now is to get you to want to play on and get to go further than just crafting a base. So they've still got a lot to work on, but as a work in progress, it's really fucking neat. Like, it's really fucking neat, and it has giant sea monsters in it, and who doesn't love giant fuck-off sea monsters? Like,
I mean, I think it's always nice when a work in progress actually shows progress. So
Yes.
we're already doing something there
Yeah.
that games don't.
And it definitely has. It definitely has. We've gone from where I was playing it where I was struggling to get the right resources and there wasn't much of a story, and I was going out to these empty pods and then coming back again and being like, well, that was a waste of my time. Oh, I don't know why shit I did that. But now there's actually a reason for you to be trying to piece all this stuff together. And when the story hits, you're like, oh damn, this is a survival experience where I actually want to survive. So yeah, this is super clever, and it's really great. I think it's on sale? ? I think it's on sale
Let
still.
me have a look while you ramble on.
But it's
Pretty sure it is.
it's
I remember seeing it pop up. Oh no, I lied. $7.50.
Yeah.
this
Oh, no,
is
it is. It's half off. $7.50 is half off.
yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
For $7.50, you'll get hours and hours and hours and hours and hours out of
So
this.
that's probably what, $10 probably.
Sounds it.
So it's getting there now, and I really like the direction that it's going in. And this is somebody who, as I say, I played it and went, this is naff. I don't like the balance. There's nothing to keep me
Very
hooked.
positive, like 34,000 reviews nearly, which is like always a pretty good sign for a
Yeah.
game like that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's difficult to get those sort of ratings with games on Steam nowadays.
Especially
with-
when they
Yeah.
change as often as, these early access crafting survival games do.
Yeah, and it's very wasn't very positive recent, which is always a pretty good sign, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, and the thing,
definitely.
like we were talking about this last week, and it's like, you know, if there's a grain of sand wrong on the game somewhere, then the sort of frothing
Steve
at the
will point it out, yeah.
And not only that,
so-
but they bombed the reviews of it. The second
Yeah.
that there's
Well, mate,
something,
the whole thing with GTA is a perfect example
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Like,
and
Look,
Darkest
how-
Dungeon
and-
had the same kind of thing when they brought in corpses. You know,
yeah. Although that's actually a great addition, I think.
Yeah, it
but
really was.
It did, like,
No, it's
it
not.
was. I remember I got irritated as hell when they added them because it just totally changed the way everything worked. But it was a good thing.
It was a good thing. Okay,
Mhm.
so from me being done with survival games to you never coming off them, Ed, tell us a little bit about
Apparently, yeah. So, I mean, as if any of you who know me are surprised, I'm going to suggest 7 Days to Die because
No.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, the first reason I'll say this is because I now have basically 1,100 hours in this game on Steam, and I don't have anything like that in any other game anywhere. I like how in the video it actually has a pig, which has been replaced.
This
I mean,
is
they're not-
I think this is the official console trailer.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
so,
that I put in.
yeah, console is a whole nother ball game.
Look, it was a
which-
nice looking trailer. You shut your whore mouth and carry on talking
It
about
is
your-
actually a nice trailer, I have to say.
But right, we
but-
do our best to bring you the best in, like, you know, video content to go with your mouth words. I work hard on downloading these and making them fit every week. You know, sit down.
But
No.
All
I
we
mean-
get is this pig's not here anymore.
uh,
Get on with it. Dance, monkey boy, dance.
I
The
mean,
World of Tanks people didn't complain when I had a tank leaning around a corner. Like,
no. So, I mean, at its core, is a survival game, and it's actually quite, in a lot of ways, it's quite a brutal survival game that is actually, I think, quite markedly different from most out there because it is actually a proper PvE game. I think that's something that not many people have done. I think you struggle to do PvP in 7 Days to Die. I know there are servers out there, but it's really not built for that. And it has a very complex full crafting system that allows you to build with blocks and stuff like that, which means you can be extremely creative. But also, like, I like the developers. They're not the quickest when it comes to updates, but like they obviously care about the game. They're like a small development team, and when an update comes, they've done a lot. The update that is coming out as we speak, that's in experimental, that's about to go stable, has added a hell of a lot of content to the game. And frankly, like the fact that it keeps updating is probably part of the reason I have 1,100 hours, which probably segues quite nicely into this weirdness that does appear with this game on the forums in a couple of places where there are people who don't want this game to come out of alpha. And the developers keep talking about how, you know, it's coming towards the end of the development process. So there are people who seem to actively want them to not finish the game ever, which seems very strange considering that's like
It's meant. Like, I don't understand.
yeah.
well, yeah, you
No.
said this to us earlier, and every part of my brain went, what?
I think it's literally because people come back, like they'll play it when an update comes out and they'll play it for like a month and they'll be like, okay, I'm played out. And then when the next update comes out, they'll play it again. And there's a whole new reason because the balance has changed totally and they've added all this new content. And I think a lot of them just feel it will become stale when it gets old. But I think one of the key things they're missing is that actually 7 Days to Die is a wonderful modding platform. And so when it's finished and stuff like Steam Workshop integration that they've talked about is added, having these massively complex mods like installed and having servers that are heavily modded that do exactly what you want out of the game are going to be really easy to do. Because right now it's a pain in the ass. You've got to use all these other tools, which is why I never really that heavily mod it. But even on like a light level, you can learn to mod this game in about 10 minutes. And like, I think that's another thing that's quite cool because from my perspective, I've never modded any games before in my life, but I've managed to make things on our server that like I've not seen anyone else do that just add to the game in my opinion. And like, you know, you can change balances, for example, and like, you know, if you wanted to, for example, you could make the entire world spawn as a snow biome and have like all the struggles that would bring and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's why it has so much replay value. You literally, it's one of the few games where I play it for a certain period of time and you get too much stuff, and so I'm like, oh, I want to restart the game now.
Yeah, but like, I don't think that's restricted by it being an alpha, because I just, the people that are complaining about that just don't understand what an alpha is. Like they're building the base game, the core of the game, the bit that works and does the stuff.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people point and laugh at this game because it's been in alpha for like 4 years. And they're like, it's never going to get finished and all this stuff. But it will. It's just, it's been a very complex game. They've made some poor decisions during the development of it at times, such as totally changing engine around Alpha 10 about 2 years ago, which basically took the game from really good to totally unplayable at one point. And then they basically almost had to rebuild the entire game because they updated the version of Unity that they were using. And like, you know, there's reasons
so many people
why
had issues with that though. So many people, that was horrendous.
And there's reasons it's been in alpha for 4 years, and I think fairly valid ones. But you know, goes 6, 7 years into alpha, people will be rightly asking the question, why has this game not come out? And let's be honest, if they want to be like super selfish about it, they should finish this game and start a new one, because they're probably not making much money from this game anymore. I can't imagine that they sell huge amounts of copies of it now because it's been out for 3 years.
Yeah,
4 years.
Certain you know, runoff where it just starts
like
going and even play figures, I would imagine as well. Like, you know, you can only keep it.
The amazing thing is that when Alpha 16 Experimental came out, they had their highest numbers ever.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
On Steam. And like concurrents are pretty strong at the minute. It does fluctuate between updates, actually. But yeah, the concurrents are really good.
Bring it back is pretty impressive. Because not many games in 3 years are fully able to do that. So
I think there is something different about it that I think makes it kind of special in the world where there's way too many survival games out there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, like I think it's I just think it does need to come out of alpha. That's it.
It does.
Kicking and screaming as it goes. I think.
I'll be 100% honest. I still think it's probably another 6 months to 9 months before it actually does come out of alpha. But it feels, from someone who's been following the development for a long time, it feels like they're pushing towards finishing it. There's lots of things that have happened where you're like, this feels like a push towards a more polished, finished feeling game. Like, you can feel that they're getting closer.
But not quite.
Yeah, it's not quite like there yet.
I imagine
because it's buggy as shit. Still,
I imagine the community will be sad though to see it stop having those big balance changing updates, and I imagine that would be quite a sad thing. Yeah,
while I totally agree, and I will be as well. Firstly, I think it really opens the door for modding. Once there's like a stable code for everyone to work off, people have done incredible things with this game with the modding already. And to think that really they only have 6 months at most to do it in between updates is kind of crazy.
Right.
I think once it actually is finished, plus I'm kind of excited to see what they've learned from this and what they do next. You know, like I almost would be happy to see them move on and see what the next game is. And because, you know, they've been open about the fact that Unity was not the best engine for this game.
Right.
But they'd gone so far down development that, you know, to change would have been absolutely suicidal.
Yeah, I mean that's the struggle. Like engine hopping, any game that's done it has suffered to some degree from having done it. As much as it may have been a required thing, like you've reached a point where you just have to. It's always been a bit of a bumpy ride going from one to the other, because not only is it having to port everything across and rebuild a bunch of stuff, it's knowledge as well. Like that.
Yeah, exactly. This is the thing. I genuinely feel like if they were to in 6 months release an update and be like, boom, game's finished, we're going to move on and make 7 Days to Die 2 now. I think anyone who would be pissed off with that would be so short-sighted that they just would not see what's going on at all. Because I actually genuinely think if they want to progress, really, that is the future. Although I do think that potentially they'll do something totally different next. But I think they've actually pulled what they can pretty much out of this engine. They've made something that is really quite special. And I think you get to a point where you're just not going to improve it because you're just going to keep running into the same wall every time that you try and push further.
Yeah, I get that. I guess time will tell as much as anything, really. But yeah, there are definitely plateaus that you reach with an engine that you've done what you can, and it's time to roll on. Yeah, we shall see. But I think it's probably time to move on to our biggest subject of the week, and it's the slightly spicy one. But I think we've actually got non-dickhead opinions on it, so I think we'll probably go quite well with this.
Yeah.
I mean, I can always play devil's advocate here because I've been looking at the reactions on Twitter.
Yeah.
And also, I've been paying attention to what people have been saying, but
I certainly have a slightly different perspective than some of them, I think.
Okay, so what we are discussing, affiliates now have a sub button. So much in the same way as partners currently have one, affiliates have also had theirs added as well. They'll be able to get a single emote rather than
each tier.
Yeah, rather than a whole array for general subs, plus an additional one at $9.99 and $24.99 for subs, except Twitch Prime subs as well. That's adding on to the bits that they can already accept, and they have been able to accept for a while. I think, do they get the game revenue? No, they don't get the game revenue yet.
Okay.
But
do they not? I'm not sure.
Ad revenue as well as a soon TM.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
But sub buttons are available now. There's been mixed reception, not for the affiliates. Affiliates on the whole have been very encouraging.
I'll be honest, I have not seen many partners being.
Oh, affiliates get a game revenue as well. Okay, my bad. That must have.
I was going to say, let me post Jesse's tweet, which is the little table with all the differences.
Yeah, that is good.
Because the thing that I've seen most is partners go, so what makes a partner special now? And I use it in that voice because
guaranteed transcodes is the thing I always wanted to get partnered for, and it's the thing we still get, and it's still, in my opinion, the best thing about partnership.
Yep, hands down. So they get
almost guaranteed as an affiliate as well.
Yes, they get priority.
Increase the availability of transcodes massively
to the point where you are totally right.
Like, you're not guaranteed it as an affiliate, but you're very nearly guaranteed it as an affiliate.
Yeah. So they can have affiliates get bits, but they don't get the custom cheer emotes. Subscriptions, they get each tier, including Prime, and they get one sub emote for each tier. So that's the $4.99, the $9.99, the $24.99. They get game sales revenue. For partners, we're looking at premium features coming soon, but there's no real indication of what those premium features are, so we're not entirely sure what they are.
Interestingly enough, originally they did say that partners were going to receive an enhancement to their offering before the sub button dropped, and that's kind of drifted, which is not a gripe, but it's interesting that that's occurred.
I know we actually have to be a little careful talking about this side of it, but from my understanding of it, actually no.
Splits?
Yeah, from my understanding,
for affiliates are, as far as I'm aware, 50-50.
That's what I'd read.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how to word that. Partners, be careful.
Yeah.
And partners get potentially different revenue shares based on their individual
contracts. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's on a partner-to-partner basis. Like, there's no there's who gets who, what, when, where.
But yeah, they don't get things like the little sub notifier that is next to their name. They just get the default ones.
They also have to pay all the fees, right?
Yes.
On the transactions between them and Twitch, right?
Which is.
So I mean, I'm going to go right into my issue with this. In my opinion, and this people may not like this, and I totally understand why people are doing this. Firstly, this is aimed directly at GameWisp, in my opinion, and people like that. Twitch have seen people making money off their ecosystem, and they're like, we want to keep that in the Twitch ecosystem. The problem is that they take a much higher cut than something like GameWisp. And you may say that, like, you could say that that is fair enough, but I think that actually the problem is, do we think that being a sub on Twitch is enough of a draw that you're not actually going to lose out in realism?
Yes.
Having subs on Twitch because of the cut difference.
It's incentivized, and it's also less clicks. I know it sounds absolutely dumb.
It being in-house makes a big difference.
Like 2 clicks, maybe 3. Whereas subbing on GameWisp is clicking through to the site, and then if you haven't got an account or if you haven't linked up your account yet, you've got to go through the process of linking that up, and then you've got to link up a payment provider, and then you've got to go through and reconfirm that you've got to do it. Then you've got to transfer back to Twitch to share it, or you click a button in GameWisp somewhere else in order to share it, so it comes through as an alert. It's a lot more of a lengthy process. You've also got to link up your payment provider with a third party, which a lot of people are discouraged from doing. Just people are worried about where their money goes and what they assign their money to. Like, I'm talking the average viewer here, rather than power users of Twitch. Which
I mean, what I will say is Prime is a big difference, I guess, especially with it being rolled out to 200 countries. Like,
well, it's basically everyone.
Basically, like just beforehand. So now all of a sudden you've got these extra 200 countries that have access to Prime now.
I think the more in-house tools Twitch can give their streamers, the better. And it is much easier to say to somebody, if you want to support my content, you can just subscribe to the channel. It's click up there, you get access to X emote. You get your subscriber badge. You get I forget if affiliates get ad-free viewing, but for people like me, I can say, okay, you get ad-free viewing, you get this, you get that. And it's so much easier, I think, to sell that than it is to say you have to go to this. If you want to help support, you can subscribe, but it's kind of like partner subscription, but it's not, because you have to go to this external website, and then I have to track all of that. The one thing I will say that GameWisp has, though, that I wish we had, is that being able to say tier 1 is $1 plus, tier 2 is $4.99, tier 3 is $9.99, tier 4 is $15 or $14.99, rather than sticking
to pre-designated.
And I know that that's difficult, but I love Patreons that do this. And Patreon's another really interesting example of drawing in support from elsewhere. But I really love people who have a Patreon that is just $1 plus.
Yeah.
Whatever you can support, feel free to do so.
Mm-hmm. But then
I guess the problem with that is sub points, literally. I would literally say that that's why they probably didn't do it like that, is literally sub points. And making that decision on how that system works.
But then that's quite I guess that's a nice system in itself, the sub point system. I like that, because it means that we get smaller goals to work towards on a regular basis, and that drives you as a content
just generally
creator.
More emotes, which is always nice.
Somebody in the chat really quickly is talking about if you get 100 subs, do you become a partner? I imagine that's not how it's going to work. I imagine
No.
the way that it'll work is you have to go through exactly the same process.
But I'd
yeah.
also imagine that if you have 100 subs, it will look very favorably on you if you
for sure.
did apply for
For
partner.
sure.
I mean, I was talking to one of the Twitch dudes about this. Basically, for partnership applications previous to this, it's been very hard for them to establish who is doing well on Twitch to be able to say, yes, they do deserve, no, they don't deserve. They have stuff like concurrent viewers and peak viewers and increased numbers. And all
I mean, do they have more stuff than we have? Like, for example, I'm presuming they have like better retention figures and stuff like that.
Now, the thing that they do,
very few that they use.
The thing that they do is they look at things like hours watched per month.
Yeah.
Which
right. Okay, so that's close enough.
Which is a stat that we have access to. But it means more to them, I feel, than it kind of does to us.
Well, it's because the more hours you spend, the more likely you are to spend, and feel valuable and whatever else. But so what they basically said is, affiliates are a great way for us to track how good someone will be as a partner with these additional bits and pieces, and sort of ambassador of Twitch as a website, which is basically what partners are to a degree. Like that's kind of what they are. They're one of the faces of Twitch, right?
But I think it's always important to remember that your sub number isn't all that, the same as your concurrent number isn't all that, your hours watched stat isn't all that. They look at you as an entire package, and having 100 subs that looks great. But you also have to be able to sell yourself. You also have to have put the hours in. You also have to have content that they are comfortable with sharing in various places.
I know the one thing I did hear a few partners saying that I think is potentially has some validity is that the affiliate number that you need being as low as it is what they seem to be objecting to.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've seen a few people suggesting. And I don't know whether it really does, but
and the answer to that is basically, why shouldn't someone be able to monetize on this platform?
So
that's true.
This is where I can kind of play devil's advocate a little bit. Because the way that it was described to me, I don't have the actual numbers to hand because I'm a dingus and I totally forgot to grab them at 6 o'clock this morning.
I might be able to fill you in on something.
But from what I understand, you have to have at least 3 people watching your stream at any time. You have to have at least 50 followers. And you have to have streamed at least, is it 3 times in the last week?
3 times per week, and it's something like 15 per... No. 12 in a month, I think it is.
So, I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second. I could set up my stream, and I could set up the PC downstairs and say, Steve, sit there and talk to me. And I could get my cat on the laptop, and I could put that up.
I mean, that is... I've just seen a good point. The 50 followers is the one thing that would definitely take a while to achieve.
Yeah,
right. But I don't feel like if you've got 50 followers and you're retaining 3 people at a time, that doesn't equate to, and again, this is purely me being mean for a second before we get to my actual opinion. 3 viewers isn't a lot to sell subscriptions to. And I think that's what a lot of partners kind of looked at and were critical of, was you're giving these people that sale bit, but how well are they going to be able to make those sales if there are only 3 people?
I think it doesn't matter. I think that's the truth of the matter, is that it doesn't matter.
I agree with you that it doesn't matter.
Right.
Everybody should be able to make money off their content. If people want to support them,
I think that's the thing. Like, exactly. And I think at the end of the day, that's the difference. I don't think it actually matters. I think the difference was before is that the infrastructure costs Twitch a lot, but they are big enough now that they have all of that in place. And who knows, maybe maybe Twitch will grow to the point where affiliate numbers will actually have to go up because they just can't offer that. They don't have the resources to offer that. But what it does do is it means that Twitch has a massive new revenue stream that will help the whole website grow. And, you know, one of the things I've got quite a lot from staff members that I've discussed any of this with is that a lot of people do not appreciate how complex it is and expensive, more importantly, it is to actually run a media delivery platform like Twitch. Like with YouTube, it's a hell of a lot easier because it is not live. And I know they do have the live section, but that very like the problem is if you have a slight blip on your internet while you're watching a YouTube video, it doesn't matter because you've already buffered 20-30 seconds in advance. Whereas if you have that blip and it lasts 5 seconds on Twitch, it would totally ruin that stream loading because the buffer size is so small. So like the other
important thing to note as well is the Twitch broadcasting video platform doodly-doo is completely custom made. It's completely bespoke. It's not off the shelf. It's not something that they can just phone up big company A and say, well, your system isn't working, you need to come and fix it for us, because they make it entirely by hand. It's them. So that adds another layer of complexity and another layer of kind of pressure, I guess, that they have to retain the talent that knows what they're doing with the system, and they need to pay them to stay in the company, whatever else, and make sure that everyone knows how to fix it and whatever else. There's another brain in that direction.
The other thing that partners I saw were disagreeing with was, and this is a really difficult one for me to say because this is pure bollocks, it takes away the value from a partner's sub button. And if everybody
the value of a sub button is what you put in it.
If everybody has a sub button, it devalues the work that you've gone to get there. And I wanna say something really quick because I burnt myself out getting partnership and I shouldn't have done that. That was bad and wrong. If you are a Twitch partner and if you have made it to partnership, you have done a lot of hard work, okay?
Yep.
And that is reflected in your sub numbers because your subs are your community members who can support, okay?
Yep.
So it's reflected in not only your stream numbers but your sub numbers. Your hard work isn't represented by the sub button. It's represented by your numbers behind the screen. Okay?
And also, let's be real about this for a minute. There's plenty of affiliates who work harder than plenty of subs out there, or plenty of even non-affiliates who work harder than plenty of partners, out there.
Work that hard.
Yeah, exactly. There's plenty of people who work that harder than me at it, who are partnered, who aren't affiliated. Like, it's kind of like that whole idea is kind of bullshit, I think, right? From its very root. That and let's be 100% brutally honest about this. People are just more entertaining to others than other people.
Yep.
It's why you have someone come on Twitch and all of a sudden blow up and get partnered in 2 weeks. You want to be brutally honest, not everyone is as entertaining as everyone else. It's not only hard work that leads to you getting partnered or success on Twitch, in
the same
you
breath,
have to have both, really.
Right? In the same breath, if you as a partner are worried about your community taking subs away from you and giving them to an affiliate, you're not working hard enough. You are not being entertaining enough. You are not doing all these things. That affiliate is doing it better. If you're worried and genuinely feel threatened by affiliates, you're not working hard enough on your content.
Yeah, I mean, I think if anyone as a partner is feeling threatened by affiliate subs, then that says a hell of a lot more about them than it does about affiliate subs.
I was really disgusted, right? I put up a tweet that was like, affiliates, if you are getting your sub buttons this week, fucking rock that. Like, congratulations, you guys are amazing. If you're not an affiliate yet and you want to be, that's cool. Fucking work your asses off and get it. Like, I believe in you. And people were responding with, like, this is the positive attitude I want to see, not anything else. And I'm like, what else have you been seeing? So I went to look for it. And the amount of people who were saying, I don't feel special anymore. Affiliates are going to be, or everybody's going to sub to these affiliates because XYZ. And I'm like, right, if you guys want to sub to an affiliate other than me, I'm not working hard enough. I'm not doing my job properly. So I need to work harder. And that's literally it. I have to be confident in my content that everybody is going to want to continue to support me. If they don't, that's fair enough, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's particularly, that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Like, people like unsub for all sorts of reasons, right?
Fuck yeah. Like, we started doing poll this week, and I had a message being like, I don't approve of your content anymore because now you're a stripper. And I'm like, do you know what? If that's the way you feel, that's perfectly fucking valid. Go put your sub towards somebody who you think deserves it.
Yeah,
and that's the truth. Like,
the one thing I will say, because I've seen a lot of streamers do it, I've like kind of had my worries about it before, and I given everything I said about numbers, the one number I do always see is the sub number, because I like, as much as I don't usually want this to be the situation, I'm somewhat reliant on money from Twitch at the minute because of other things.
I feel you.
If there's one thing I can say to all the affiliates out there, don't read into your sub number. Like just don't like look at it and think it says really anything about your content, because it's not a measure of really anything other than like the amount of people that are supporting you. It's like, it's very easy to like let that be everything, like all consuming.
Yeah.
Like the sub number.
Affiliates do me a favor. Like, affiliates do me a favor. When you see a sub number, look away and look at the names in chat instead. Don't look at what badges they have. Don't look at their sub anniversaries. Like, that's great, and it's really good that they support, and I never want to take away from anybody that supports.
And
but
do celebrate.
Oh, God,
Actually, funnily enough, for some reason, I don't know why, I saw something on Twitter I didn't like, but I literally tweeted earlier today, like 3 hours ago, Twitch isn't about numbers, it's about names.
Yeah.
Someone's wise once told me that.
Get to know the people in your chat. Look at those names and be like, you guys are there for me. You know, your lurk list. A lot of streamers will look at, like, at the beginning cast, at the end of cast, like, who was lurking during their cast or whatever. That's cool. Learn who your community are. They're the people who, like, they're the people to love. And it doesn't matter if there are 1 of them, or 2 of them, or 50 of them, or 500 of them. They're all important. Those are the people that you want to worry about, not the stupid numbers on the side of your panel. And, like, I know you guys hear this a lot. I know you guys hear this a lot, where you're like, don't look at your follower count. Don't look at how many people are watching you today. Like, don't look at your stuff. Like, genuinely, look at chat. Look at those people who want to be friends with you, who want to interact with you. Look at the people who, and we've all got them. Look at the people who favorite your tweets, who retweet your stuff, who tweet you dumb shit when they see it, because it reminded them of your content. Those are the people to care about, not your fucking numbers. Don't get caught up in that.
I threw up a stream at like 5:30 this morning, maybe 6 o'clock this morning, because I'd woken up stupidly early, and people turned up and chatted bullshit about the game that I was playing. People turned up at like a time when I never stream and said hi and talked about shit.
Yeah.
And, like, you can see the fucking follower number in this channel. Like, it's bigger than a lot of people's, but it's certainly not that big for a fucking partner. And considering how rarely that I actually throw up a stream on here, not that often, people that are still dedicated enough to actually turn up and fucking chat shit with me at 6 o'clock in the piss in the morning.
And I think this is the thing, going back to the actual topic at hand a little bit, but like, people who are really worried about this, and I accept that, like, it's not my only source of income, and I can understand someone who this is their only source of income, and they're thinking, what the shit am I going to do? I'm going to have less money. But it's like, unfortunately, I think it's just like the nature of life right now. Like, everything is so divisive. Absolutely everything. You can't have like a reasoned debate about a topic really on any like form of social media anymore, because every side is so polarized. So, like, rather than looking at their own content, it's much easier
to look over
just
the fence.
be like, yeah, and just be like, it's your fault.
Yeah.
So,
unfortunately, a lot of people just like don't want to take responsibility for their own actions anymore.
I'm gonna go into like my piece about it, and I preface this by, holy shit, it's amazing that everyone gets to monetize their streams, and I think that's amazing. But my sole gripe with this is it's overnight. It's 60,000 additional people having a sub button overnight. And I think that people who are in the mid ground that are just starting to make it as a partner and are doing it as a full-time gig, and yes, you should always have a backup plan and whatever else, but you know, this effectively got sprung upon them. I think those people will struggle through sheer virtue of numbers and the likelihood.
I think you're right. I don't think you're wrong. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you're wrong.
And the likelihood of that being their friend that they know that they go on Twitch with. So, of course, they're going to sub to that person because it's their friend, and they're going to nag them if they don't. And you know, they're just people that they spend time with, and it's the novelty of it being a brand new thing as well. And then you know, there's a concern with that, and my sole thing with it is stagger it.
Yeah.
If they'd staggered the release of the sub buttons to affiliates, that problem goes away. It scales with the size of the platform, because the platform will grow as more people get access.
I have to say I do agree, and like I personally, despite everything I've said, do feel like I'm probably going to end up with less subs, possibly because of that.
Yep.
At some point, but it's one of those things. It's not like I think this is the thing. I think some people are thinking it's their right to have those subs. Like, it's like there's their subs.
That's a mistake.
Like, yeah.
Like, if you feel a level of entitlement to the subs that you get, to the community that you enjoy, to your ability to make money, and you feel a strong entitlement to the point where you're like, fuck these other people for being able to take away my subs and whatever else, you are a cunt. Like,
yeah,
basically.
It's exactly the same with the don't turn your partner checkmark on and come in my stream because you're there to steal my view. Your viewers, your community, like, again, these are human beings. It's the same with mod team should be there for every single stream for every single. No, they've got lives. They need to do them. Like,
I will be honest about that, though. I'm not a huge fan of the verified tick, but it's for kind of a different reason to that. And it's why I don't use it.
But that's personal preference. You have the preference. You don't have that put upon you.
No.
To take
and I would never, ever, ever like discourage anyone from coming in my chat and using that badge. If someone wants to use it in my chat, I'm like, that's
I'm
awesome.
going to come steal your viewers, Ed. That's just what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in with my tick.
Well, that's the only reason why I've got mine.
Cool. I'm still surprised to this fucking day anyone actually wants to come and see my channel anyway. So, like,
right?
I kind of just like think everyone who's coming in, they'll just be like, oh, someone else is streaming now. Let's just go here anyway. So, like, it's fine. I don't care.
There's a lot of shit like that, right? You know, that exists. But, like, yeah, that's the thing. So that concerns me. So the fact that it's just straight away 60,000 extra people that you can potentially sub to, and there are going to be linkages that are going to cause some loyalties, and ultimately everyone has like a max spend on Twitch. I have a max
sub. Well, let's be like, obviously it's going up periodically, but there is a max number of subs on Twitch, right, across the whole platform as a whole.
a vague.
Like the people who have the people on it have a max number of subs each, and there is an amount to go around basically, and that will be increasing over time, presumably.
But the platform and people get more money or whatever, But it's a case of, that further across. So I understand that concern, and I think that there will be some wobbly ground for some of the mid-tier casters, and it would be resolved by staggering the release of those sub buttons. But that's not any reason to rail against the fact that they've happened at all.
Yeah, no, they're inherently
they're
good things.
Fantastic thing. Being able to monetize is a fantastic thing. Giving them bits is a fantastic thing. Giving affiliates bits is fantastic. The reason being, bits are an entirely new revenue stream. They have not had an ill effect on traditional donations. They are an entirely new revenue stream. So people get bits are getting money they would not have gotten before. They are getting support in the form of bits and whatever else that they would never have had before. And that's
I totally agree. They're separate. They're totally separate
things. The more that we normalize it, and again, you're now going to see them everywhere. The more that we normalize it, the more use people will see for them.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say about this whole thing, and I want to see F's in the chat for the people who approve emotes, please.
So they've hired
it's a separate team, apparently.
Separate team. It's
right. They've still got like 60,000 times 3 emotes.
Oh yeah, still. Yeah, absolutely.
They're getting through them really quick.
Let's be honest. Even the partner ones have been an issue recently.
The partner ones are being automated though.
Yeah, I know. I'm feeling like just changing them constantly. I might just change mine now.
I can have hair color ones now. I can have all my recolors and just stick my recolors up when I remember to do my hair. Because, at the moment, my hair's blue, but it's silver and yellow as well. So, yeah. But yeah, let's start to wind this down, I think, because as good as the discussion is, affiliates, I think we can universally agree. The affiliate program is wonderful. Congratulations.
The best.
Yeah, congratulations to you guys who have your sub buttons. If you guys are working towards your sub buttons, I'll say it again, you guys got this, I believe. Put in the work.
Actually, even more so, this is only for the live portion of this. If you are an affiliate in the chat, put your link in the chat. I personally will follow every single one of you, and I dare say
I will as well.
Follow
that lead. Put your link in chat. You won't get timed out. I don't have link protection on in here. Put your link in the chat. Any cool affiliates that you know as well, stick their link in the chat. I'm going to follow every single one of them. Yep. I don't promise any subs though, because I'm poor as shit.
Right. I haven't got any money left. I sub to the most important affiliate in my life, and that's as much as I can afford right now. But
I had to sub to Chris. I've been cutting back my subs recently because
I feel you.
I'm poor.
But yeah. Can you guys all go follow this person as well while we're doing things? Because she's amazing and I know she wishes she could be here. No.
Thing is, if you click on their link, it opens a new window. So I'm actually just clicking on their names to follow them.
But yeah, you guys, I think are all entirely worth checking out as much the same as anybody else.
Entirely. Please keep working hard. Please keep updating us with how you get on, because genuinely streaming is a joy. As much as I'm one of these terrible people who bitches and I moan because I gotta get out of bed to stream, blah blah. Streaming keeps me going. Streaming is the thing that keeps me alive, that gives me so much fucking joy in my life, right? Enjoy it. Work hard, because it's fucking great. It's actually fucking great. So yeah, we all agree that affiliates are good. I think I've followed everybody that posted links. Thank you to you guys who have. There is that one last thing to do. one last thing to do before we wrap up today, and that is, why was today's episode a 6 out of 10? Every week we name the episode after something that has happened during today's stream. Why was this podcast 6 out of 10? And as per oh god, I just unfollowed Chris. Shit.
You unfollowed people.
Fuck.
Well, my
I was
one is going to be 6 out of 10. Kishim, I hardly know him.
Oh god. So
We do miss Quiche 22.
oh
We do.
yeah, bless him.
He's been very quiet.
Oh.
He's got a better thing.
I wanna put forward 6 out of 10 Tassimo brain training.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Because I think that's I think that should be this week's
Yeah, I
title
think
is
that's a
6
pretty
out of
good
10
one.
Tassimo brain training, because apparently I'm not awake in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Oh,
That's going to keep it going for a while. That was glory. I love it.
I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry. Like I'm just not awake.
Can we reach agreement on Tassimo brain training?
Yeah, are we happy with 6 out of 10?
I think Tassimo brain
Overjoyed
training
with
is
it,
good.
can't tell.
Perfect. All right, so let's round out. Dreadhead, where can people find you? And what are you doing this week that people can come and watch you do?
Twitch.tv/Dreadhead, and we'll probably be playing a bit less 7 Days to Die over the next few days, actually. I'm probably going to play some Darkest Dungeon, because I haven't played it since the very beginning, and I just bought the DLC. Because
So good.
yeah. So I think we're going to be doing that, and then when the actual stable drops, presumably in the next 2-3 days, we'll probably go switch between them at times and do them
go
both at the same time.
Run for the new vein and just shoot up all over again. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Days, times.
All days except Tuesday, and times when I finish work.
It's probably
Follow the
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah, follow
Yeah,
the Twitter.
follow the Twitter.
We've got your Twitter
if you really
handle.
want to know.
Just
That's
Yeah.
usually the
Down
best
there.
way to find out when I stream. I'm one of those plebs who doesn't really have a proper schedule. I'm
There's
sorry,
fucking
'cause I'm the worst.
barely working partner, like just snubbing all these.
No, you know what it is? It's literally because I want to stream the maximum amount of time that I can, so that I actually I basically stream when I get in from work, and because that changes every day, I start at different times every day.
Yeah,
Aw.
I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
Pip,
Yes.
what are your plans?
Hi. Okay, so I'm Tiny Pixels. My name is Pip. I'm a variety streamer and also a fitness fanatic. Monday mornings 10 a.m. BST and Wednesday mornings 10 a.m. BST. We do pole fitness, which is neat. It's like yoga, but on the wrong axes, and sometimes I fall on my face. Which is great. It's actually really neat. You guys are gonna get to. Oh, from this week, you guys are gonna start being able to vote for stuff for me to try and do, which is terrifying. But that's great. We also do lots of gameplay. This week we're gonna be doing some more Darkest Dungeon. We're gonna be doing some. Maybe we're gonna do some Subnautica. There was another game that I wanted to try, and I can't think what it was, so maybe we'll do some of that as well. We've got a couple of.
Dr. Decker.
Oh yes, we're gonna play some. We're gonna play some Dr. Decker because.
I know you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, because it should be really good. But
Can we get some Tassimo brain training?
no.
We should totally
Oh, no,
we should totally yeah, that'd be a great stream game.
Training, Jesus gods. But yeah, Pole Fit Wednesdays and Monday mornings. Otherwise, from about 11-12 BST, we do gameplay, and it's just kind of neat. I also have 2 pre-release packs to open this week, so we're going to look at Hour of Devastation that's not out yet. And then we're going to do lots of content off of Twitch, where I teach Steve how to play, and we're going to watch me beat him into oblivion. So yeah, that's this week, and it's going to be great. Yay!
Whoa!
Whoa! Oh god.
Sounds like what you know the worms when they jump and then sometimes they land a little bit too far and they go,
Whoa! Yep.
that kind of noise. That was
So,
amazing.
Yeah, I did.
Just before they fall off.
I did an RP over on Potato's channel last night until like 6 a.m. I've had like fucking 3 hours sleep. You'll have to excuse me today. I am the worst. Also, yes, we are gonna make a highlight reel of all the poll for every time I fall, like, and somebody clips it. We're gonna put that together for YouTube. That's gonna be amazing. Yeah. Sam, what are you doing this week?
Who knows? Who knows? I myself as well as surprising you all. How about that for an offer? And
Excellent.
Is to play through. Planet Coaster's had another update, so
has it?
That it's like their summer update, which they've added like a bunch of stuff into. I think there's like another 2 sets of campaign things or something. Like there's quite a bit that they've added into it again for free because they're cool.
Yeah.
Playing around with that. I've got more Final Fantasy 14 to play through. I've got to finish I always forget the full name of it. Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. I need to finish, and I might do another playthrough of that quite possibly.
Why is it with all these people who don't know what quiche is?
I know.
Like, you heathens.
Is that an egg and bacon pie?
You're heathens.
I literally put the 22 on it as well. Like I put hard graft in paint to put that. Anyway, other than that, I don't know. I've probably just got some stuff going on. I think my course, the Level Up Dojo, might be coming out this week, quite possibly, or if not this week, next week. So that would be cool. Teach you how to get good as an affiliate on Twitch. So that's pretty neat. Other than that, I'll just be live at some point. You can follow Twitter and there'll be memes. So follow /Senshudo on Twitter, and that will have all of the stream updates and the new stuff that we do from the website and all that stuff. And other than that, I'll probably be back here same time next week doing some more of this guff with some new shiny guests. I think next week we've got Jessie Quill joining us. I remember rightly. Be pretty cool.
Yep, she's wonderful people. All right, so thank you for joining us for today's 6 out of 10 Tassimo Brain Training. It's been really great to see you. Make sure you follow the wonderful Dreadhead Ed, because he's lovely people. Make sure you follow this channel. Don't worry about me. I'm a dickhead. I love you guys. I love you guys so much. And we'll see you next week. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.